Welcome, Patriots, to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, streaming live to millions worldwide on YouTube, Rumble, and X. And you know what makes us different? We don't just report the news. We interact with you, the viewers, getting your real-time reactions as history unfolds. So share the stream right now via text message to bypass big tech censorship. X viewers, repost to your followers. Let's break the algorithm together. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you're following us on Rumble and X as well. They can't silence us on every platform. And here's something special. We're going to be reading your Super Chats and Rumble rants between segments, featuring them on screen for the world to see. So send them in right now, even before we dive into today's explosive topics. And speaking of explosive, today marks a historic parallel. On July 21st, 1925, exactly 100 years ago, the Scopes Monkey trial ended with a guilty verdict that exposed the establishment's war on truth. Today, July 21st, 2025, we're witnessing another trial, not in a courtroom, but in the court of public opinion. The establishment is guilty again, and this time they're not getting away with it. Because today, President Trump just ordered the nuclear option, full release of the Epstein files, the same week that DNI Gabbard handed criminal evidence to the DOJ proving Obama's Russia hoax was treason. Well, our border is finally breathing free, with 0 illegals released last month, as the Genius Act revolutionizes American finance to some skeptics, all while Trump celebrates 6 months of promises kept and swamp creatures destroyed. Now, if you want to support our mission to bring you unfiltered truth, hit those donation links in the description. We are 100% viewer funded, which means we answer to you, not the corporate overlords. And Patriots, show the world who you stand with. Check out our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. We've got Alligator Alcatraz series, President Otto Pen designs, and our American Badass collection. Wear your support proudly. And if you want to take your support to the next level, join our YouTube channel memberships. Each tier unlocks exclusive explosive perks, special acknowledgement in the chat room, and behind-the-scenes content. Also, access to our team and our members-only 24/7 Discord, where the conversation never ends. Now, today's show is going to blow the lid off everything. We got 5 thermonuclear topics that prove we're not just winning, we're witnessing the complete transformation of America. The Epstein files are spilling out despite desperate attempts to stop them. The Russia hoax conspirators are facing real prosecution. Our border is transformed from Biden's welcome mat to Trump's fortress. The Genius Act just legitimized crypto while rejecting dystopian CBDCs. After 6 months, Trump's second term is already more consequential than his first. Each story connects to expose the biggest power shift of our lifetime. This is not just news, it's the systematic dismantling of the corruption that nearly destroyed our republic. From trafficking networks to treasonous coups, from invasion to innovation, today we're covering it all. Remember, your voice matters here. We're reading your comments, your super chats, and reactions throughout the show. This is your platform as much as it is mine. Together, we're bypassing the media gatekeepers and delivering raw, unfiltered truth. So buckle up, Patriots. Get your friends watching, text them the link, share on every platform, because what we're about to reveal will shake the foundations of the establishment. The truth can't be stopped anymore. The people are awake, and the Raw Feed is your front row seat to history. Let's dive in. The revolution will be live streamed, and it starts right now. Let's welcome you to the show. Who's here right now today? We got Charles and Laser and the Raven. Biscuit Puncher. The Biscuit Puncher's here. Fish Whistle. Yeah, baby. We got Bella Stubblefield, Sabrina Overeducated, Karen the Wizard is here. Charles Humbles, Jessica in Pensacola, Robert Lockhart, Carl Thiefs, Lori and Sabrina, Bill Roberts, Jeanette Johnson. What's up? Rose Bermal, Baby Rose is here. Rainbow Melon in the house. Who else is here? We've got Bo Did LL, Dan Thompson, Rayleigh Art, Mike Brady, X Rail Rotor X, Northwest Indiana on Rumble. Selena Dixon, Child of God, Arthur McCary, Scott Edwards, Matt Grimes, Patty, Joe. You guys are just, whoa, you guys slow down. Michael Johnson, Billy Price, I'm Not Daniel, Kevin Faulkner in the Ozarks, Tennessee in the house. Billy Price has joined us. Steve Queen, Kathy, KP, Dan, Karen, Jeremy, Blitz, Lisa, what's up? John, Heather, Vaughn, Past the Puck is here. New York Creloader, what's up? Denise, God, everyone's here. So great to see everybody. Scott and Michael and Laser and Sandra and Lori and BD Drifter and the Madness. Wide Earp in the house. Hadley, Nancy Pelosi's liver is present. Jack Rice, Matt, Sabrina, fans of Jimmy, Rocky Marciano. My goodness, you guys are on fire. What's up, everybody? I'm seeing super chats, I think, that are coming in as well. We've got Craig dropping $5. Nebraska reporting for duty. God bless every Patriot here. Thank you, Craig, for your $5. And we got Tom B 420. Thanks, Gary N3 for life. We're already going to put $10 in the Alex Jones was right jar to kick off this show. All right, guys, we got a lot of news to start covering here, so let's get right into it, because we do not want to wait. But first, our trivia question. In 1974, which president's attorney general went to prison for conspiracy and cover-up? Was it A, Richard Nixon, B, Gerald Ford, C, Jimmy Carter, D, Lyndon Johnson? Well, yeah, I do know the answer to this, so I am not going to give you the answer, but I want to know what you think the answer is. You can drop the answer in the poll, in the chat, in the comments below. And I'm already seeing you guys are saying it's Richard Nixon. 85% are confident it is Richard Nixon. We're going to find out, though, after this segment. They mocked us, called us conspiracy theorists, told us to move on. Well, today that lie died. Trump just ordered the FBI to release everything, every sealed Epstein document, every buried grand jury file, every name they tried to protect. The Wall Street Journal even got kicked from the White House press pool for pursuing the story. Mark Levin suddenly screaming, "Stop talking about Epstein." Why? Because they all know it's coming. The cover-up is crumbling. The panic is real. We've got the whole unedited White House gaggle where the bombshell dropped. But first, the facts that prove this is the beginning of the end for the protected class. So keep on watching. Now, you probably think your 401k is safe, but it wasn't designed to make you wealthy. It was built to shift retirement costs and risk onto you, leaving your savings exposed to crashes, inflation, and chaos. But Americans are waking up and taking control with real assets like gold. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands secure their future by converting part of their 401k into a tax-advantaged gold IRA without penalties or headaches. It's safe, it's simple, and it's smart. Visit nextnewsgold.com to get your free wealth protection kit and discover how to safeguard your savings. That's nextnewsgold.com. It's your exit from the danger zone. Of qualified accounts get 2 5-ounce silver American the Beautiful qualified coins. Call that number on the screen, 877-646-5347. And when Colin answers, say, "Hey, Gary Franchi says hello." Wishing you guys the best. All right, give him a call. Okay, so there's a lot happening right now. Do you guys heard of these characters? Have you ever seen these characters on X? Yes. They are Democrat operatives. Ed and Brian Kreisenstein. They now escaped to East Asia as calls grow louder across the U.S. for the release of the Epstein client list. That is according to The General. We have this. Check this out. This is an interesting post in relation to that. It's funny how Kreisenstein cares about Epstein now. Just a reminder. This is where he stood when Biden was in office. This is what he said about the Epstein client list. Releasing Epstein's client list, where the vast majority of names likely have no involvement in his heinous crimes, would be a reckless act in today's climate of online mob justice. It would destroy the lives of innocent people based solely on guilt by association, offering no accountability, just a modern-day witch hunt fueled by speculation and outrage. Well, you know what? Sometimes you need to have a little mob justice, right? Cancel culture is real. And somebody who wants to cancel the Epstein files, Mark Levin. Yeah, this posted by Shadow of Ezra 12 hours ago. Mark Levin is now defending Jeffrey Epstein's child trafficking operation, claiming we can't waste our time on Epstein. He's tired of people who keep bringing up Epstein and doesn't want to hear anymore about the trafficking network. This is an interview he did. Life, Liberty, and Levin with Speaker Johnson. Listen to him.
I've had it with all. We can't waste our time on Epstein and other stuff that are going on here that some people want us to focus on. I've about had it with all that stuff. We better focus on who we are, what we're doing, where we want to take the country, and what they want to do to the country. Mr. Speaker, God bless you, my friend. I appreciate you very, very much.
You too.
Sounds like someone's getting real nervous over there at Fox News. I don't know. Is Mark Levin in the Epstein files? Not saying he's guilty that he did anything. I'm just saying he wants us to move on, but we're not. We're going to get to this. We have exclusive footage from the gaggle that happened earlier today with the White House press secretary. Our camera was there to capture it all. A wide-ranging 16-minute press conference that was totally unscripted. And the White House schedule today, I messaged our producer, Todd, and I said, Todd, the White House schedule says nothing. It looks like it's going to be like a nothing burger today. And then this happened. I had a call with one of my contacts there, and he's like, yeah, Caroline's going to hit the sticks at about 3:30 today. So we called up our crew, and they were there on site. We're going to get to that in a minute. But first, let's take a look at what's happening at CNN. Host there says there are new signs that backlash over the Jeffrey Epstein saga is not going away. A vote to force the White House to release all records related to Epstein now has enough Republican support in the House. And just as that news was breaking, Mike Johnson says he's not going to hold a vote on anything related to Epstein this week. Why does that matter? Well, this week is the last week that Congress is scheduled to be working until September. Now, I want to just go back to this for a second because this press conference, there was quite a few questions about Epstein, so you're going to get the raw, unfiltered look at what happened there. Of course, you can find the clips online. They're all there, but our cameras were there, caught it uncensored and unedited. We're not going to cherry pick anything. We're going to give it to you raw and filtered, so I want you to stick around. But listen to CNN first real quick.
There are new signs for the president that the backlash over the Jeffrey Epstein saga is very real and not going away. Right now, there are two major developments on Capitol Hill. A vote on a measure to force the White House to release all federal records related to Epstein now has enough Republican support in the House. At least 10 GOP lawmakers have now signed on, meaning that leadership has to hold a vote. And just as that news was breaking, the House Speaker, Mike Johnson, is telling CNN that he's not going to hold any vote on anything related to Epstein this week. Why does that matter? Well, this week is the last week that Congress is scheduled to be working until September.
We need the administration to have the space to do what it is doing.
So no vote on this resolution before August 5th.
There are new signs for the president that the backlash over the Jeffrey Epstein saga.
So let's keep going along here. We got more to get to here. White House removes the Wall Street Journal from the press pool over the Epstein story. You know, the fake news they posted just last week. President Trump now filing a lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal and all their the affiliates, owners, personally, not just as entities. Was it $10 billion or something crazy like that? So the Wall Street Journal removed from the press pool. Damn, that sucks. Wall Street Journal. We got some clips here from Tucker Carlson I want to get to first, but here we have this. This is from Beau Loudon. Now, if you don't know who Beau Loudon is, let me give you some background. Beau Loudon is super, like he is best friends with Trump's son. Trump's Barron Trump. Best friends with Barron Trump. Posted this 11 hours ago. Jeffrey Epstein blamed Trump for his downfall, accusing Trump of being the first to report him to police in 2004. That's according to Michael Wolff. President Trump has done more than any other to take down the pedo networks. Will the fake news report this? Listen to this.
And said Epstein believed that Donald Trump went to the Palm Beach police and said, Jeffrey Epstein has young girls at his house, thereby beginning the legal process which would ultimately bring Jeffrey Epstein down. Epstein.
Right. So everyone claiming that, there's some salacious material in the Epstein files that would implicate Donald Trump. Does it make any sense for him to turn in Epstein if he would then be found in those same files? I don't think so. Let's keep going right along here. We have Representative Tim Burchett. President Trump has an incredible gift.
Strategy. Now, I was going to say the president takes a lot of heat for what he said earlier, but, Trump has an incredible strategy. They said, the big, beautiful bill won't pass by July 4th. What happened? Trump worked it. It came out by July 4th. Senator Hagerty's bill on cryptocurrency, they said, They wanted it to the president's desk by Friday. There was no way it was going to happen. I'm sitting in a meeting with the speaker and Whip Emmert and about 10 or 12 fellow conservatives that had problems. Trump calls, answers every one of our dadgum questions, and guess what? He signed that bill on Friday. And that, he has an incredible gift at strategy and winning, and that's what he does. Now, I was going to say,
note the chyron there. At least 10 Republicans signed petition to release the Epstein files. So the ball is moving. Now, let's take a listen to what happened at the White House earlier today. I'll give you the Cliff Notes first. Unfiltered Epstein firestorm erupts outside the White House in a jaw-dropping, unscripted gaggle caught on camera, our camera. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt went off script in front of a stunned group of reporters, delivering unvarnished 6-month victory lap of the Trump administration before getting hammered with Epstein questions that lit up the press line. She didn't flinch. In the space of just minutes, Leavitt claimed 0 illegal aliens were released into the U.S. last month, announced D.C. Children's Hospital halted puberty blockers due to Trump's executive order, said Trump ordered the release, the FBI to release the Epstein files, confirmed grand jury is underway, blasted Obama and Hillary Clinton's handling of national security, defended Trump's Fed criticisms, calling Powell's interest rate policy a mistake, and revealed that Trump was serious about blocking the Commanders Stadium over their name, celebrated ending wars, releasing Gaza hostages, and obliterating Iran's nukes. Then came the dagger. A reporter asked about MAGA pushback on Epstein transparency. Her response, the president knows what his supporters want, transparency, and he's giving them that on all accounts. Every word uncensored, every question answered, every jaw on the ground. Here is the full, uncensored, unfiltered, straight from the West Wing gaggle. Check it out.
First, just last.
Now, what you're seeing here, this is Caroline Leavitt. She just did a Fox News hit. Okay, note the outfit. I know we have clips later on in the show of her, but from that Fox News hit. But here she is walking up. This is the area they call the Sticks at the White House, doing this uncensored gaggle. Watch.
It's good to see all of you. And yesterday, as you all know, we celebrated 6 months of the Trump administration. It's been a pleasure to work with all of you day in and day out here at the White House. 6 months, the most transparent administration in history, if I may add. And I know the president just wanted me to highlight his accomplishments over the past 6 months. As you all remember, because you all covered it on the campaign trail, the president really promised the American people many things. But at the top of that list was to defeat the Biden inflation crisis and to secure our border and our homeland. And I think you've all seen in 6 months' time, the president has delivered on those two core campaign promises. Inflation is now running at a 2.1% annual rate. If you look at our southern border, look at the numbers. Just last month, 0 illegal aliens were released into our country. And then look at what the president has done on the world stage. He has ended wars like India and Pakistan. He continues to work aggressively to end the war in Russia and Ukraine. He completely obliterated Iran's nuclear sites. He has continued to hopefully negotiate a ceasefire between Israel and Gaza to end that conflict and release all of the hostages. We've seen many of the hostages released as a result of this president's efforts. And this president is working around the clock every day to deliver on the promises he made. You also look at some of the cultural issues, to abolish DEI from our federal government and our military, to effectively end men and women's sports, which is a huge common sense policy that the American people support. And then if you look at the president's strong executive orders that have effectively ended the chemical castration of young children in our country. Just today, Washington, D.C. Children's Hospital in this city has announced they are no longer going to be prescribing puberty blockers to minors. This is a huge win for America and our children. There's certainly more work to do, and the president is doing it right now, and he will continue for the next 3.5 years. But certainly we've accomplished so much in just 6 months, and I'm happy to take some questions.
Was the president serious, or was he joking this weekend when he said he might block a Washington Commanders stadium deal if they don't change their name?
The president was serious, and it's part of the art of the deal, part of his negotiating skills. As you know, sports is one of the many passions of this president, and he wants to see the name of that team changed.
Why is he getting involved in that? Why does he see that as part of his purview?
I think you've seen the president gets involved in a lot of things that most presidents have not. He's a non-traditional president. He likes to see results on behalf of the American people. And if you actually poll this issue with sports fans across the country and even in this city, people actually do support the president's position on this and the name change.
What will he do about that, Caroline?
Thank you, Caroline.
White House's
Thank you, Caroline. And then Mary, you can go.
Thank you, Caroline. What is the White House's reaction to Senator Chuck Grassley today releasing the formally classified Clinton Annex showing that the Comey-led FBI failed to fully investigate Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server, also failed to really look into thumb drives with potential national security risks on them, and emails from President Obama?
It comes as no surprise, unfortunately, and I think that's why you've seen the FBI open up investigations into the individual you mentioned and some others as well.
Caroline.
Why hasn't the president just ordered the FBI to release the full Epstein files, just get it all out there?
The president has said if the Department of Justice and the FBI want to move forward with releasing any further credible evidence, they should do so. As to why they have or have not or will, you should ask the FBI.
But does he still anticipate releasing more information?
Does the president have any
It's up to the Attorney General.
Does the president have any message for the countries that are planning to attend the two-state solution conference that's taking place later this month?
I'm not quite sure he has a particular message for those countries. I think the president's message on this conflict we've seen in the Middle East taking place for far too long that has become quite brutal, especially in recent days. You've seen reports of more people dying. The president never likes to see that. He wants the killing to end, and he wants to negotiate a ceasefire in this region. He wants to see all of the hostages released from Gaza. That has been a top priority for this president. Within this 6 months, we have seen many of the hostages released, including the last living American hostage, Edan Alexander, which was a result of this administration's diplomatic efforts and approach to ending this conflict. And again, this is another conflict that the president inherited from the previous administration, who was so weak and incompetent, it led to so much chaos and death around the world, but this president is focused on solving it. Kelly, go ahead.
Thank you. So at 6 months, the president is also experiencing some pushback from members of his own MAGA base, especially on the matter of the Jeffrey Epstein files. Is the president satisfied that his own supporters are not heeding his call to let it go and to move on?
I know the president would reject that, Kelly. In fact, he cited over the weekend some polls showing that his approval rating with the Republican Party is actually at an all-time high. He's polling 90 to 95% amongst Republicans right now. That's higher than any Republican president or any leader of this party ever. The president is the creator and the leader of the Make America Great Again movement. It's his baby that he made. And he knows what his supporters want. It's transparency, and he has given them that on all accounts when it comes to everything this administration has done, especially when it just comes to the president himself, taking questions from all of you and the press corps on a near daily basis, multiple times a week. No question is off limits here at this White House, not just for the president, but myself as well.
Caroline, on immigration. All on Kash Patel to do more?
Again, as I just answered, the president has told the Attorney General and the FBI Director to release any credible evidence that they find, and he also signaled to them over the weekend to move forward with unsealing the grand jury documents that were under seal by various judges across the country, and I believe the Attorney General has taken the proper legal action to do that.
You mentioned there also Israel, we've seen stepping up some attacks in Gaza. Has the president expressed his frustration with Netanyahu, and how does this impact the ceasefire negotiations?
Well, look, the president enjoys a good working relationship with Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu and stays in frequent communication with him. He was caught off guard by the bombing in Syria and also the bombing of a Catholic church in Gaza, which, as you know, I addressed at my briefing last week. And in both accounts, the president quickly called the prime minister to rectify those situations. And we saw Secretary Rubio intervene when it came to Syria. We saw a de-escalation there. And as for the bombing of the Catholic church in Gaza, the prime minister did put out a statement saying this was an accident and they deeply regretted that action on behalf of the state of Israel following his conversation with the president.
Has the White House taken a position on Maria Salazar's work visa bill, and ideally, what does the president want to see with a work program for aliens?
Again, I know you asked me about that last week, and I regret to inform you my answer remains the same. I don't think that's the focus of the White House right now in terms of legislative priorities, but certainly I promise you will get a readout on the bill. But as I reiterated to you before, the president does not support amnesty for illegal alien criminals, and I think the tragic circumstance that took place in New York City this past weekend underscores the priority of this president to secure our homeland and to deport illegal alien criminals and public safety threats from our country and our community. That's this president's priority.
That in the last several months, Americans have become more hesitant about President Trump's different ways that he's been conducting immigration. They think that it's going too far. Is the White House going to limit any ways that it is enforcing immigration across the country?
I think the Trump administration is going to continue to focus on removing public safety threats and illegal alien criminals from sanctuary cities. The president himself has said that's the priority for him in this administration, which the vast majority of Americans do still support, removing illegal, heinous criminals from their communities. And ultimately, the best poll that was ever taken was on November 5th, when nearly 80 million Americans voted to re-elect this president, largely because of his immigration policies. And we've seen they've been a resounding success. Again, 0 illegal aliens were released into the country last month. That's a good thing for all of us standing here and for Americans across the country.
And Caroline, there are reports that President Trump or that FBI agents going through the Epstein files were told to flag President Trump's name if it came up. Is that something the president was aware of, or something that he directed those agents or the Department of Justice to do?
I don't believe that's something the White House was aware of. You have to ask the FBI.
Caroline, is President Trump satisfied with how aid's being distributed in Gaza right now?
Look, the president is the reason that aid is even being distributed in Gaza at all. He wants to see this done in a peaceful manner where more lives are not being lost. He hated seeing the pictures of starvation of women and children desperately needing that aid, which is why this administration came to a creative solution to bring that aid into the region. And we want to make sure that aid is delivered to people in need, but certainly does not end up in the hands of terrorists. I think both things can be done at the same time. Look, it's a very difficult and complicated situation, again, that the president inherited because of the weakness of the last administration. And I think he should be applauded, and the administration should be applauded for coming up with a creative solution to get aid into the region. The president wants to see peace, and he's been pretty clear about that. And our national security team continues to work on this every single day, but of course it's a very complicated situation.
Over the weekend, the Commerce Secretary had some pretty tough words for the Fed chain. It's good to see you.
Hi, Mark. It's good to see you. You're sneaking in back there.
I know. I wish I was taller. The Commerce Secretary over the weekend had some pretty tough words for the Federal Reserve Chairman. The White House has kind of sent some mixed messages whether or not his job is safe or not. Will Powell be allowed to finish his term as Federal Reserve Chairman or not?
Look, Mark, the president talked about this and answered these questions for you pretty extensively in the Oval Office. He has no plans to fire the Fed chair, but he has been very transparent in expressing his displeasure with Jerome Powell's management of the Fed and also his policies. And the president is right, by the way. He's been saying this for a while, but finally, economists and experts are agreeing with him that Jerome Powell should cut interest rates. If you look at our country, by every economic metric right now, it is booming. Look at the trillions of dollars the president has brought in foreign investments. Look at inflation, like I said, continues to go down. He's basically defeated it in just 6 months. If you look at the massive deregulatory campaign this administration has lost, look at the cost of goods. The cost of oil is down 20%. We've added 700,000 jobs to the economy in just 6 months. The manufacturing sector is ticking up again. By all accounts, this is a good economy. In fact, the Wall Street Journal, wherever you are, did in fact give credit for that today. They said that the economy has its swagger back, which is one way to put it. But I think that it's true. And I think that the Fed chair needs to lower interest rates. The president is right about that. And finally, people are catching up to the president. Brian, go ahead.
Yes. Has the president shared any additional thoughts on privatizing the TSA?
Privatizing the TSA. I haven't heard him talk about that, but perhaps it would be a good idea. I think we can all agree there's a little bit of bureaucracy when you move through an airport. But I'll get with the president, or perhaps you can ask him yourself next time, Brian.
The Congressional Budget Office released updated estimates today about the Big Beautiful Bill now that it's law. They estimate that the deficit will grow by $3.4 trillion by 2034, and that 10 million people will lose health coverage by 2034. I know you guys are critical of the CBO. More broadly speaking, is there any concern from the administration that this bill, now that it's law, will increase the deficit in any way or remove anyone from health insurance that they have legal citizens?
No. Look, this bill was a great bill for the American people. It was the largest tax cut for middle and working class families in our nation's history. And the president wants to see this country get our fiscal house in order. That's why this was a fiscally responsible bill, one of the most fiscally conservative pieces of legislation for its size that has ever crossed through Capitol Hill. And the president wants to cut our deficit. That's why he's effectively using tariffs to bring more revenue into the United States to ultimately pay down our debt that has been created by presidents on both sides of the aisles for many, many decades.
There are 11 days until that August 1st trade tariffs deadline. What can we expect between now and August 1st in terms of potential announcements of trade deals with many countries?
Look, I can tell you the trade team and the president himself continue to be very engaged with countries around the world when it comes to our trade agreements. You have the president of the Philippines who will be visiting the White House tomorrow. Perhaps this will be a topic of discussion. You will all see for yourselves in the Oval Office, as you always do. But the August 1st deadline is just really the start date for when the United States of America will begin collecting this revenue from all of the countries around the world who the president has sent these letters to. You could see some more letters before August 1st, John. You could have some more trade announcements as well. I can tell you the President, Secretary of Treasury, Secretary of Commerce, Ambassador Greer all continue to be in constant communication with our trading partners.
Yes, yeah, thank you. How did you see the tariff negotiations with South Korea being fundamentally different with those with Japan?
I can check in on the status of the South Korean trade talks for you.
Special envoy visiting Lebanon regarding disarming Hezbollah. Does President Trump still believe diplomacy?
Who is visiting?
Tom Barak. Special envoy Tom Barak is visiting Lebanon regarding disarming Hezbollah. Does President Trump still believe diplomacy can work with Lebanon while Hezbollah keeps its weapons?
Look, I think the president wants to see diplomacy work with Lebanon and all of the partners in the Middle East. You know, the president has been very clear when it comes to his priorities for Iran, and he obliterated their nuclear capability. And I understand that the administration continues to be open to talks with Iran if we deem them necessary. As for Tom Barak's trip, I know the president supports him and he's doing a great job in Syria.
Carolina. According to the House Judiciary Committee, the Biden administration sent nearly $1 billion in taxpayer funds to the left organization in Israel to oppose Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. What is the White House reaction?
Well, it's not a surprise to me that the previous administration sent billions of dollars overseas for useless priorities that don't advance America's interests. We've seen a lot of that, which is why this administration has been very focused on clawing a lot of that money back and making sure the American government is spending American tax dollars on America's priorities. Thank you, guys. I'll see you later.
Thank you.
Raw and unfiltered, and brought to you by the Next News Network exclusively. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this changes everything. For years, they called us conspiracy theorists. They mocked us. They censored us. But Trump just proved what we knew all along. The Epstein network was protected at the highest levels. And now, with the FBI order to release everything, including sealed grand jury documents, the rats are scrambling. Mark Levin telling people to stop talking about Epstein? Yeah, he got a phone call. But that's the fear talking. The Wall Street Journal kicked out of the press pool? That's desperation. This isn't just about one monster. It's about an entire system of corruption that reaches into every corner of power. So here is my question. Do you believe we'll actually see actual arrests from these files? Yes or no? Drop your answer in the comments. And while you're at it, check out our merch shop. It's linked down below. Show the world you stand for the truth, not cover-ups. The revolution needs warriors. Are you in? All right. Moving right along. Don't go anywhere. We've got some more hot news coming this way. Fast and Furious. Checking in with the chat room. What are you guys talking about in there? Epstein used women from all pageants owned by Trump. Is that Deep State guy said that? It's bloody bonkers, Gary, says End the Madness. Big fat hell no, says The Raven. No, says Craig. Beatrix Kiddo, possibly lower level arrest. They're handmen. Michael Jones, no. Obama needs to see something. Hope so, but I'm not holding my breath. Okay, we can hope and pray, yes, but not as many arrests as the treason files. Okay, now let's take a quick look at the answer to our trivia question as we move into our next subject. The answer was, in fact, Richard Nixon. Well done, yes. Richard Nixon, his AG, John Mitchell, became the first U.S. Attorney General imprisoned for conspiracy, obstruction, and perjury in the Watergate cover-up. And a super chat just came in and has made a declarative statement that I can agree with. Wyatt Earp says, Gary is kicking ass tonight. That's a 10 spot right there in the jar. Going to put it right next to the other one. Who will be the next to help fill that jar tonight? Okay. Let's go to our next trivia question, and then the bombshell. We've got to talk about what's going on with Barack Obama, so don't go anywhere. Now, in 1798, which law made it illegal to publish false, scandalous criticism of the U.S. government? Was it A, the Patriot Act, B, the Sedition Act, C, the Espionage Act, or D, the Logan Act? Whoa. 1798, Patriot Act wasn't around. Espionage Act, I don't think, not the Logan Act. I'm going to go Sedition Act. I'm going to say B. That's where I'm going. You guys are saying Patriot, but guys, we're talking about 1798 here. Okay, Patriot Act was not around in 1798, so I'm going to tell you it's not A. All right, let's get into our next report. Now, we've been covering this since day one. We called it treason when everyone else called it politics, and now the evidence is undeniable. What started as whispers and classified briefings has exploded into criminal referrals at the highest levels. They manufactured evidence. They weaponized intelligence agencies. They tried to overthrow a duly elected president. And now, with the documents declassified and the receipts in hand, the hunters have become the hunted. General Flynn wants raids. Gabbard delivered the proof. The DOJ has no choice but to act. The biggest political crime in American history is about to face justice. This is what accountability looks like. So stay with us, and you'll see. Now, you probably think your 401k is safe, but it wasn't designed to make you wealthy. It was built to shift retirement costs and risks onto you, leaving your savings exposed to crashes, inflation, and chaos. But Americans are waking up and taking control with real assets like gold. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands secure their future by converting part of their 401k into a tax-advantaged gold IRA without penalties or headaches. It's safe, it's simple, and it's smart. Visit nextnewsgold.com to get their free wealth protection kit and discover how you can safeguard your savings. That's nextnewsgold.com, your exit from the danger zone. And qualified accounts get two 5-ounce silver America the Beautiful coins. Also, call that number on the screen. Pause it, write it down, pause the video, 877-646-5347. And when you call, tell Colin that Gary Franchi said hello. Now, I've got some, this is hilarious. This is so funny. I mean, you guys follow the Babylon Bee. I love the Babylon Bee. A big supporter of everything they put out. Well, look at this. Look at this headline. Babylon Bee, of course, is satire. I have to add that little disclaimer in there for anyone who, isn't smart enough to recognize it, especially the minders and censors. But anyway, this is the headline. Obama argues he can't be charged with treason since he wasn't born in America. Babylon Bee for the win. Okay, so I've got a quick thread I want to go to. I just found this. I reposted it yesterday from Ada Nestor. Now, if you don't know who she is, I'm learning that she is a radio co-host on the Conservative Voice in Philly, which is pretty cool to hear. Now, she posted this thread, and it basically lays it all out. And I want to go through it. We have more news to get to. Look at this meme that was posted. Donald Trump Jr. posting this meme 3 hours ago. Oh, that's a famous scene. Yeah. Yeah, remember O.J. Simpson and the white Ford Bronco? Wait. Let's zoom in here. What do we have here? What? Oh, we've got Barack Obama driving the white Ford Bronco. We got Trump in the back. Who else is here? Oh, I'm not sure who that is, but funny guy. Whoever he probably made the meme, but I can certainly laugh at that. And then we have this. We have Donald Trump. Man, Donald Trump has been on fire, posting on Truth Social. We're going to get to what he posted here. We're going to get to what CNN right on cue posted, and then of course, well, we should just play this because President Trump posted this. This is the best part of the clip on Truth Social that President Trump made. You can see it here. Now, this is President Trump. You know, you've got your classic meme showing up. Oh, there's President Trump and Barack Obama in the Oval Office. Wait, hello. Excuse me, sir. Yeah, you're coming with us, Mr. Obama. You're coming with us. Oh, yes, you got to love AI. Yes, we have to make that disclaimer here because we don't want anyone to think that this is actually real, but this is something we would love to see. These are visuals that, you know, we pray. We pray every day that the criminals would see justice, and with what Tulsi Gabbard just released, these scenes could perhaps play out. Now, of course, I'm not holding my breath. The deep state runs very, very deep. The bureaucrats that are still entrenched in those agencies are probably going to slow walk a lot of what we're seeing from Tulsi Gabbard in the investigation. And then, of course, you have to get a judge who has the balls to, you know, prosecute Barack Obama and Brennan and Comey and Clapper and the whole gang. Now, a lot of these judges appointed by Barack Obama, are they going to have the guts to do so? I don't think so. But with what we have learned, it's possible that this whole grand jury investigation with respect to this could be transferred down into the West Palm Beach area, and well, maybe we'll get a favorable venue, and these scenes could actually play out in real life. It's all something we would love to see. Now, there's a lot to unpack in this segment. As you can see, I've got a lot here from Tulsi Gabbard. A lot of her media appearances as of late. We got General Flynn here we're going to get to in a moment. But let's just unpack this thread because I found it to be so fascinating what Ada Nestor wrote. Franchi wrote. Why did Obama and his allies go to such extremes, possibly even treason, to sabotage Trump before he took office? Because Trump was not just a political threat. He was a threat to everything that they were hiding. From Bush Senior to Obama, a decades-long web of corruption, shadow power, and cover-ups ruled Washington. Trump didn't play along. He didn't need them. He was a wrecking ball aimed at their entire machine. Bush Sr. laid the foundation. Former CIA director turned president. Covert wars, drug trafficking, money laundering, off-the-books operations. The deep state as we know it was built on his watch. Clinton cashed in. Mena Airport, Chinagate, the rise of the Clinton Foundation as a global pay-to-play empire. Every scandal vanished down the memory hole, protected, insulated, and untouchable. Bush Jr. enabled the next phase. 9/11 gave them the excuse. Surveillance exploded. Patriot Act, black sites, secret kill lists. The military-industrial complex raked in trillions while Americans gave up their rights. Obama sealed the system. He promised hope and change, delivered mass censorship, intelligence manipulation, and weaponized the federal agencies. IRS against dissidents, DOJ to cover tracks, intelligence turned inward. Then came Trump. He talked openly about human trafficking, corrupt intelligence players, and globalist control. He signed orders, froze assets, threatened their black budgets. He wasn't one of them, and that terrified them. They hit him with everything. Illegally unmasking his team, fabricated dossiers, FBI infiltration, Russiagate, two-sham impeachment, full-blown lawfare. Why? Not politics, self-preservation. The media calls it resistance. Well, it's not. It's a criminal enterprise trying to bury its tracks before Trump exposes the rot that they've spent 30 years protecting. This was not about stopping Trump. It was about stopping the truth. And now they are desperate, and they're louder than ever. They're unhinged, coordinated, and frantic. Why? Because Trump still knows, and if he returns, they know it all comes down. It is the fight of our lifetime, not left versus right. It's truth versus power, and they are losing control of the story. Well said, Ada Nestor. Now, let's take a listen to what President Trump posted on 7/20 of this year at 6:46 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. President Trump dropping bombshell after bombshell on Truth Social. Let's listen. Maybe Trump has a special message for us here.
An outcome. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is not speculation. This is documented fact. For years, they told us Trump was the threat to democracy, but the real threat was the attempt to remove him. On December 9, 2016, inside the Obama White House, a classified meeting took place. Present were CIA Director John Brennan, DNI James Clapper, FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, and several senior officials. Barack Obama was there. and what they discussed would become the most coordinated political deception in U.S. history. Just days earlier, an internal intelligence community report concluded Russia had not altered the outcome of the 26th election. On December 7, DNI Clapper reaffirmed it. Quote, foreign adversaries did not use cyber attacks on critical infrastructure to alter the U.S. presidential election outcome. End quote. But that wasn't the story the Obama administration wanted. So after that White House meeting, Clapper's executive assistant sent out an email. The order: prepare a new intelligence assessment, one that aligned with the president's request. That's right. Intelligence was politicized at the highest levels under the direction of a sitting president to frame the incoming one. They buried prior reports. They inflated the Steele dossier. They reversed conclusions, and they launched the January 6, 2017 Intelligence Community Assessment, used to trigger investigations, media hysteria, FISA warrants, and ultimately impeachment. It was a soft coup. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has now declassified the emails, memos, and reports. In her words, this was a treasonous conspiracy orchestrated by Barack Obama and carried out by key members of his administration. General Flynn calls it the greatest crime in American history. Others are demanding arrests, indictments, and immediate action from the DOJ, because if this stands, our constitutional republic falls. We now have names. We have documents. We have sworn testimony. No more theories, only accountability. My friends, we are all anonymous, and we speak for the silenced, and we are awake, and we are everywhere, and we will not stop until the truth is reckoned with. This is not a conspiracy.
Oh, man. Well put. President Trump posted that on Truth Social, guys. Okay? Let that sink in. And speaking of General Flynn, actually, let's go to this. Let's go to this. Right on cue. Virginia Democrat gubernatorial candidate Abigail Spanberger called Tulsi Gabbard a conspiracy theorist and implied she's a Russian asset. She didn't want Tulsi in there because she knew what she would find. Virginia cannot elect a member with the same intelligence groups attempting to overthrow a sitting president.
So I'm a former CIA officer. I worked undercover for my time with the agency as a case officer. And case officers throughout the world currently are out there recruiting foreign individuals to provide information to the United States government, to provide information that helps inform our policymakers, our military leaders, our diplomats, and ultimately the president. And that's when we talk about sources and methods, right? The sources and methods are the means by which we know certain things, whether that's the person who's reporting that information in some far off country, whether it's technologies that might be at play. And so not only is it vitally important that we have a clear understanding that every person with access to classified information, and especially the DNI, protects the classified information that is collected, but also that they protect and understand how sensitive sometimes our means of gathering that information is, the sources and methods. And the DNI is the person who sees everything. They know every capability. They know the information that we do or do not have, the information that is or isn't informing our decisions. And frankly, the reason that this nomination, I think, is so dangerous is because any damage that she would do, any information she would provide the president, right? She tweets Russian propaganda. Why not include it in the presidential daily brief? She traffics in conspiracy theories. Why not kind of push that into the greater ecosystem of intelligence? And none of that would ever be seen by the public. There's no opportunity to push back. There's no opportunity to understand. And frankly, even just a lack of understanding of and respect for how it is that the intelligence community works could really, truly undermine not just our ability to collect information, but our ability to work with partner nations.
Okay, enough of that. Now, obviously, this clip was during the nomination process of Tulsi Gabbard, and this former CIA official, CIA agent, is warning, oh, she can't be picked. She can't be trusted because she's going to release information. And look where we are now. Tulsi Gabbard has released information that implicates so many people all the way to the top. Now, we're going to continue here. Let's listen to General Flynn, what he had to say. He posted this 6 hours ago, and he tagged AG Pam Bondi. He writes, there should be an immediate FBI raid on Obama's D.C. mansion. Demands passports stripped from all Russiagate co-conspirators, citing flight risk. Accountability is required and justice must be served. He's tagging real Donald Trump and J.D. Vance in this post just 6 hours ago. Let's listen.
And I do think that just as was done to President Trump when they raided his home at Mar-a-Lago, because they thought that there was, and they planted evidence there in that case. But I do think that what the DOJ should be considering, if not getting ready to conduct, is a raid of Barack Obama's home up there at Kalorama in Washington, D.C., where he's been since he physically left the White House. He's been running the White House, all during the Biden regime. And I do think that there's some other places that need to be raided where there are likely, a lot of evidence, a lot of receipts, so to speak, in many of these people that are part of the Obama White House as well as the Biden White House. I mean, I just heard the great David Schoen talking about the former Deputy Attorney General Monaco, who also was the Homeland Security Advisor to Barack Obama. So that's number one. Those are things that need to be considered right now. And I was ready to wake up this morning to hear about some of these raids that should have been going on. There should, as a minimum, be a task force assembled by of federal law enforcement authorities, as well as a assigned, dedicated, prosecutor at the DOJ level, at the Attorney General level, someone who is working directly for her and for the President of the United States. This has got to happen very quickly, just as was done to President Trump. When they raided his home at Mar-a-Lago.
Raid Barack Obama's home. Maybe that's something we'll see soon. I know President Trump would love that. DNI Gabbard has just officially handed the receipts to the DOJ to launch a criminal investigation into Barack Obama's manufactured Russia collusion hoax. We must see arrests, show no mercy. George Papadopoulos, 12 hours ago. If you think the December 2006 Obama meeting that was declassified is bad, just wait until the following is declassified. George Papadopoulos, who was at the center of the Russia hoax, who actually went to prison for a week during that time, who I have come to know and become very friendly with. Him and his wife and my wife, share a lot in common. He's actually born and raised in my neck of the woods here, so we've got a lot in common. And I've spent some time with him, and he's a great guy. So not just the fact he's a great guy, but what he experienced is firsthand. So let's listen to what he says. He says, wait until the following is declassified. He posts a Fox News clip here. Listen.
Here's 2016 Russia collusion hoax by asking foreign intelligence agencies to illegally spy on the Trump campaign.
Lucas Tomlinson in Washington with more. Lucas.
Good early morning, Carly and Todd. This report from Substack, citing multiple unnamed sources, claims the U.S. intelligence community asked foreign spy agencies to help spy on more than 24 associates of Donald Trump in the run-up to the 2016 election. It reads in part, quote, President Barack Obama's CIA director, John Brennan, had identified 26 Trump associates for the Five Eyes to target. A source confirmed that the IC had identified them as people to bump or make contact with or manipulate. They were targets of our own IC and law enforcement, targets for collection and misinformation. Now, the Five Eyes nations are the U.S., UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Here's one of the reporters, Michael Schellenberger, who spoke to Jesse Waters last night.
Now, before we get to that, I want to make it very clear how you understand the Five Eyes. So, technically, we're not allowed to spy on our own people. Okay, the CIA cannot be turned inward. But the CIA can turn to any of their friends in the United Kingdom, New Zealand, Canada, or Australia to look at us. And then what do you think happens to that intelligence? Okay? So let's listen to what Jesse Waters and Michael Schellenberger have to say here.
If this binder contains what we have been told that it contains, which may include raw intelligence, information showing that the U.S. government, the CIA and the intelligence community of the U.S. government, initiated the Russia collusion hoax, that it did not occur in the way that the official story, including the Durham investigation, had portrayed it, then that's extremely serious information.
The report was released at the same time House conservatives are preparing a bill that would reauthorize Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act that allows the government to collect communications from foreigners abroad. And today, the House Rules Committee is set to meet.
Okay, now let's continue with our investigation here. We have this, Carrie Bonet. Why didn't this come out before? Let's listen to what Matt Taibbi has to say. Taibbi says Obama squarely in the Russiagate crosshairs. Matt Taibbi, an excellent investigative journalist. Listen.
And James Comey were the focus of criminal investigations that have been opened by the Justice Department. But these new documents that were released by Tulsi Gabbard and the Director of National Intelligence make it clear that the investigation is now aimed at the Obama White House, and in particular at Barack Obama, because of decisions that were made in early December of 2016 to suppress the presidential daily briefing and go ahead and order a new intelligence community assessment that ultimately would have much more aggressive conclusions about Trump and Russia.
So a lot of this December of 2016 into January of 2017, I'm assuming also. You know, but Trump's people were in there for 4 years. And the current CIA director had his job for 8 months at the time. Did his people fail him? Why wasn't there more urgency on this and Trump 1.0 as there is now?
Yeah, that's a complaint I heard a lot over the weekend from people who have been following this, and even from former officials who are close to Trump. One of them said to me, a former high-ranking Trump official said there was, quote, so much corruption in the last Trump presidency that this shouldn't have been overlooked, that these documents should have come out. Absolutely. But the overall sense I get is that everyone's happy that they finally are coming out, and they're looking forward to what is likely to come out this week.
Okay, another question about Russia. Is the allegation they were trying to influence our election, or is the allegation that they actually changed votes? I think we need to be clear on that. What can we say?
So it's both. The Democrats are making a lot of hay over this apples and oranges issue, that there was never any question that they didn't actually change vote tallies, but they did influence the election. Actually, there was some question about whether they had the ability to influence the election. There were quotes earlier from that year with the FBI saying they didn't have any evidence that they had done so, and they were uncomfortable making that statement. There were also quotes saying that they lacked evidence that Russia had the ability to impact the outcome of the election. So all of this would have been passed on to somebody like Michael Flynn, because presidents-elect are entitled to receive the presidential daily briefing. That's why this is important. It's not so much what the PDB did say, it's what it didn't say. It didn't say that there was a sweeping conspiracy to help Trump. And if they had that, it would have been a very different political picture going forward.
Okay, looks like it's the DOJ's call next, and we'll see what they do.
Yes, we will. Buckle up. Get your popcorn ready, folks. This is the moment we have all been praying for. Let's check in with Jim Rickards, explaining there's no statute of limitations issue in prosecuting those involved in Russiagate, or we should call it Obamagate at this point. A conspiracy widens the net, but more importantly, it extends the statute of limitations. Let's check in with Jim Rickards. I love Jim.
Delivered a bomb. Okay, Tulsi Gabbard has been getting lit up because the CIA, in conjunction with the Mossad, came up with the urgency that we had to get into it with the Persians. Jim Rickards, we know she's a serious person. We know she can also take incoming. She's kind of unflappable. she can take incoming as she has over the last couple of months, and then delivered a bombshell that President Trump got on board early, but last night he went next level of his enthusiasm for this, including having this little film put together with Obama being actually incarcerated. I want to go back to you're saying they're smart in the way they're doing this, given your knowledge of the intelligence community, and particularly going directly to a conspiracy and to RICO, using the RICO statutes to to go over this. Can you continue on your analysis, sir?
Sure. So the first point we made is conspiracy widens the net, so people tangentially involved can be kind of hauled in to the core of the conspiracy and face those charges because they contributed to it. But more importantly, it extends the statute of limitations, because the immediate reaction to some of this was, yeah, maybe, but it was 2016. That was 9 years ago. The statute's 5 years or 7 years, depending on the offense. That's not how it works in a conspiracy. You start the statute of limitations from the last act. And that would be at least the rate on Mar-a-Lago. If I were a lawyer, I happen to be a lawyer, if I were a lawyer to any of these potential defendants, I would say keep off the phone and don't talk to any of the other people. In fact, don't talk about it at all. Every phone call that furthers the conspiracy starts the statute of limitations over again. So you are not going to have a statute of limitations problem. So widen that. Statute of limitations is simply not a problem. The other thing you look at is what's called venue and jurisdiction. Well, Chris Wray sent the goon squads into Mar-a-Lago to go through Melania's, lingerie. Thank you. That just handed the White House or the Department of Justice a Florida jurisdiction. So you could bring the case in Florida. You can bring it in other states as well. This was a pretty widespread coup. Pick your state, but you're certainly not going to pick Washington, D.C. or New York or any other Democratic stronghold. So statute of limitations is not a problem. Conspiracy casts a wide net. Florida jurisdiction is clear. Other states, if you prefer. So my point is, they've really thought this through, anticipated all the objections or all the potential defenses, and structured it in such a way that those defenses fall down. And the last point, I encourage the War Room Posse, read what Tulsi Gabbard actually released. It was a kind of a one-pager, tons of documents behind it. But what she actually released, again, serious person, she used the word coup. The word coup was in there, which is what it was. I think you're right, absolutely right about that. She also used the word treason. I think the word was treasonous, but okay, the root word is treason. One of the very few crimes mentioned in the Constitution. Of course, you can get the death penalty for that. So this was carefully crafted, carefully thought through. They anticipated the defenses. They've knocked them down before they can even be raised. I would expect in due course, but maybe sooner than later, grand juries, indictments, trials, and some convictions.
Okay, Tulsi Gabbard's been getting...
Yeah, baby. Statute of limitations. Going to keep extending. Let's keep going. We've got more to get into. We're not done yet. Oh, what are they doing at Face the Nation? Carly Bonet goes, cry more. Let's hear.
Russian interference. A bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee investigation found that the U.S. intelligence community's assessment of Russian interference in the 2016 election was correct. They deemed it to be so on a bipartisan basis. I'm saying that because today and yesterday, the director of the intelligence community, Tulsi Gabbard, has said that she is referring for prosecution former American officials she accused of treasonous conspiracy, a years-long coup against President Trump, because they assessed Russia had tried to influence the election. This is weeks after the CIA director issued a report critiquing the tradecraft that went into that 2016 assessment. Is there any legal basis for any kind of prosecution here?
None. Absolutely none, Margaret. What you saw from the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, was not just a lie, but a very dangerous lie, because when you start throwing around language...
Okay, this is Representative Jim Hines, the Democrat from Connecticut, ranking member of the Intelligence Committee. Yeah, he's clearly panicking.
Like sedition and treason, somebody's going to get hurt. Now, you pointed out that the Senate committee, then led by Marco Rubio, a Republican and now Secretary of State, found unanimously that Russia meddled in the election to try to assist Donald Trump. John Durham, special counsel appointed by Donald Trump, investigated this, found that the Senate report was correct. Now,
wait a minute. But what if all the evidence that they were reviewing was manufactured? What if they based all of their decisions and judgments on manufactured evidence from the intelligence community? Oh, wait a minute. That's exactly what Tulsi Gabbard is saying, is that the intelligence community edited and redacted and changed their narrative so they could create this entire conspiracy to frame Trump. So it starts at the very beginning. And everything after it is rotten. All right, I'm not going to go anymore with this guy. I want to get to Tulsi Gabbard because she just hit Fox News, and we need to see her remarks on this. Okay, now this is 7 minutes. We have, okay, let's play this one. This was posted 48 hours ago. Tulsi Gabbard, listen.
To try. The intelligence community assessed, and this is what the documents detail, the intelligence community assessed essentially Russia doesn't have the tools, the capability, or the intent to try to change the outcome of the U.S. presidential election. Donald Trump pulls off a historic victory against Hillary Clinton in November of 2016. Even in the days after that election, the intelligence community continued their consistent assessment that reflected the same thing in the months leading up to the election. All of a sudden, in the early days of December, there was a president's daily brief that was drafted. This is put together by the different elements of the intelligence community that reflected that same assessment. Russia did not try to hack the election, in essence. That PDB, that document, was pulled hours before it was supposed to be published for the president to see that following morning. That document was never published until we released it yesterday. 1 day later, President Obama calls a meeting of his National Security Council, his top officials, to be held on what they called a sensitive topic. And the results of that meeting, which we released yesterday, and these over 100 documents that talk about in detail how President Obama and his team, he directed a manufactured piece of intelligence that detailed not if, but how Russia tried to influence the outcome of the United States election that President Trump won in November of 2016. This document was then used as the foundation for everything that came next. It was essentially a years-long coup that was launched against President Trump before he even had the opportunity to take his oath of office and be sworn in as President of the United States. So, as you know, there was a Mueller investigation that went on for years, cost taxpayers nearly $40 million. There were 2 congressional impeachments. President Trump and almost every member of his family were smeared and attacked, faced lawsuits, depositions. High-level officials were investigated, some were arrested and put in jail. The list goes on and on about the ramifications of this, but foundational to it all was the fact that we had in President Obama and his leadership team people who did not want to accept the will of the American people in electing Donald Trump in 2016, and therefore cooked up this treasonous conspiracy to, again, try to effectively, and they did effectively, launch a years-long coup against the sitting president of the United States.
A years-long coup. I mean, no wonder they didn't want him in the 2020 election. Let's keep going. We got some more from Tulsi Gabbard here. Here she is on Fox Business with Maria Bartiromo 24 hours ago.
Detail. The implications of this are frankly nothing short of historic. Over 100 documents that we released on Friday really detail and provide evidence of how this treasonous conspiracy was directed by President Obama just weeks before he was due to leave office, after President Trump had already gotten elected. This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is an issue that is so serious it should concern every single American, because it has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic. What we saw occur here, as the documents we released detailed, was that we had a sitting president of the United States and his cabinet and leadership team, quite frankly, who were not happy with the fact that President Trump had won the election, that the American people had chosen Donald J. Trump to be the next president, commander-in-chief of the United States. And so they decided that they would do everything possible to try to undermine his ability to do what voters tasked President Trump to do. So creating this piece of manufactured intelligence that claims that Russia had helped Donald Trump get elected contradicted every other assessment that had been made previously in the months leading up to the election that said exactly the opposite, that Russia had neither the intent nor the capability to try to, quote unquote, hack the United States election for the presidency of the United States. So the effect of what President Obama and his senior national security team did was subvert the will of the American people, undermining our democratic republic, and enacting what would be essentially a years-long coup against President Trump, who was duly elected by the American people. The implications...
Oh, my goodness. I mean, the fact that this is finally coming to light, we can all breathe, but we all need to stay on this and demand justice. Here we have more from that same interview with Maria Bartiromo. Here is Tulsi Gabbard saying it's worse than even politicization of intelligence.
It was there's no question in my mind that this intelligence community assessment that President Obama ordered be published, which contained a manufactured intelligence document. It's worse than even politicization of intelligence. It was manufactured intelligence that sought to achieve President Obama and his team's objective, which was undermining President Trump's presidency and subverting the will of the American people. So yes, next week we will be releasing more detailed information about how exactly this took place and the extent to which this information was sought to be hidden from the American people, hidden from officials who would be in a position to do something about it. And that's really the point here that I think is most important, Maria, and you said it in your opening. Accountability is essential for the future of our country, for the American people to have any sense of trust in the integrity of our democratic republic. Accountability, action, prosecution, indictments for those who are responsible for trying to steal our democracy is essential for us to make sure that this never happens to our country again. There's no question.
Within the next week, we are going to see even more released by Tulsi Gabbard. So if you think this is going away, it's not. And we're going to keep tracking this. Okay, here's another one. Tulsi Gabbard on Fox. In the months leading up to November 2016 election, the intelligence community agreed there was no intelligence. Well, this is more of what we've heard her say already. So what we're witnessing here, folks, is the beginning of the end of the tyranny that we have all lived under, that the Trump family has lived under. After you and I all voted for that man, President Trump, after we all cast our vote because we wanted to see real hope and real change, the man who promised that started a frickin' coup. And now we have it all in black and white. Now, for anyone who's going to go back and say, why are you wasting your time with this? It was in 2016. Because if we don't cut off the head of the snake now, it will continue to grow and get even more hungry and devour even more in its wake. Now, yes, the deep state actors who are still entrenched in these bureaucracies and these intelligence agencies, they are going to fight tooth and nail to make sure this is slow-walked, to make sure that's roadblocked. Of course, like I mentioned before, they have to find a judge who's going to be favorable. And you heard Rickard say that it could go to Palm Beach because they raided Mar-a-Lago. This is only the beginning. We're going to keep on this. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe because you don't want to miss what we are about to uncover in the weeks ahead. So they thought that they would get away with it. Obama, Brennan, Comey, the whole corrupt cabal that weaponized our intelligence agencies against the American people. But Tulsi Gabbard just changed the game. She's not playing politics. She's delivering evidence of manufactured intelligence, fake dossiers, and coordinated sedition. This wasn't opposition research gone wrong. This was an attempted coup orchestrated from the Obama Oval Office, executed through corrupted agencies and then covered up by complicit media. You heard him, Jim Rickards, confirming what we've been saying. There is no statute of limitations on conspiracy. These traitors can still face justice. The December 2016 meeting that started it all, declassified, the evidence delivered. The only question now is whether our justice system has the courage to do what must be done. So I ask you, should Barack Hussein Obama face criminal charges for the Russia hoax, for Obamagate? Drop a yes or no. Let's continue the conversation in the comments below. And if you want to have real justice, support our efforts to expose President Otto Penn and that new all-inclusive resort for illegals down in Florida, Alligator Alcatraz, or you could pick out your favorite member of the administration in our American Badass series. Oh yeah, maybe you want to get a Tulsi Gabbard shirt, right? I think we should all be wearing Tulsi Gabbard shirts. She's badass. Get one. Go to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, support the administration, and support this network, and wear your patriotism proudly. Whoo, baby. All right, we got some super... What do you want me to do, Brian? Okay, I'll disconnect it. And I will reconnect it. Hopefully that resolves the issue. Yeah, I heard it too. I wasn't sure what that was going on there. I thought it was just some audio issues. Lori Ollivant dropping $10 in the jar. Passports need to be revoked. Private planes need to be grounded. These traitors will try to escape to a non-extradition country. Well, that's pretty close to what General Flynn had to say. Tom B420 dropping $5 in the jar. Now, don't go anywhere because we're not done. This show is just getting warmed up. Tom B420, great job, Gary, and team. N3 Family for Life, $5 in the jar. And you can have your support thrown in the jar if you want to drop a super chat and have your message read by the great Gary Franchi. I will happily do that for you. And you can also ask a question if you don't want to get my take on something. Go for it. All right, let's get to our trivia answer and find out what it was. It was, in fact, B. You guys said B. Congratulations. The Sedition Act. This controversial law under President John Adams, who happens to be a distant relative of mine, criminalized criticism of the federal government, proving government censorship is nothing new. Okay, now let's get to our next subject of the evening. We got some good news to report. I think you guys will enjoy this. We've got, sometimes you got to have some more good news. I mean, the topic of Barack Obama potentially being indicted on grand conspiracy charges. It's great news, but we got more news. But first, a trivia question. Which president's first 100 days saw the passage of 76 laws setting the modern standard? Was it A, Theodore Roosevelt, B, Franklin D. Roosevelt, C, John F. Kennedy, or D, Ronald Reagan? First 100 days, 76 laws. I couldn't tell you. Maybe I'm going to say... I'm going to go Ronald Reagan on this. I'm going to go there. Yeah, the modern standard, Ronald Reagan. Yeah, D. You can cast your vote in the poll, in the chat, or in the comments. You guys are saying Ronald Reagan as well, so we're going to find out who's right after this next segment. 6 months ago, America was bleeding. Border chaos, inflation crushing families, wars spreading. children being mutilated in hospitals. The Republic was on life support. Then January 20th happened. What followed wasn't just a transfer of power, it was a resurrection. The numbers don't lie. The results speak louder than any speech. From boardrooms to border towns, from Wall Street to Main Street, the transformation undeniable. Even the hostile media can't ignore it anymore. CNN admits it. ABC confirms it. The Wall Street Journal even says America has its swagger back, despite the fact they just got kicked out of the White House for that trash they posted last week. Now listen, this is not campaign rhetoric. This is documented reality. And the proof is everywhere. We're going to show it to you, so keep on watching. Now, 6 months of Trump's high-energy leadership shows what's possible when you're operating at full capacity. But millions of Americans, they can't celebrate these wins because they're being held back by daily pain. Top medical experts have unveiled a natural solution, 100% drug-free, Canalidine. It optimizes your body's natural painkillers, providing full-body relief without dangerous pills or side effects. Over 1 million Americans and professional athletes already embrace its power. Like Trump is transforming America, Canalidine transforms how you feel. Legal worldwide, certified drug-free, no addiction. After 14 years of clinical research, it's proven safe. Experience Trump's winning economy pain-free. Try Canalidine risk-free at trycano.com/NNN. It is linked down below. Okay, so the winning is happening in real time. Just 3 hours ago, we have this. Another record day high closing for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ.
Here's a recap of today's market action. The S&P and the NASDAQ both hitting record highs once again as communication services and discretionary stocks led the gains. Here's a recap of today's market action.
Yeah, baby, record highs. President Trump posting this on Truth Social.
President Trump marking 6 months in the White House.
It is my honor to introduce to you the 45th and the 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
Donald Trump immediately getting to work with a remarkable show of the use of executive power.
This is, we've never seen anything like this. There's 20,000 people cheering for every executive order signed.
President Trump comes in and immediately begins taking action to fix each and every one of these fires that the Democrats started.
It's 6 months delivering on the agenda. This ultimately is promises made, promises kept by the president.
This is a message to the rest of the world. The days of ripping off America and Americans are officially over.
The Trump archives are a series of near impossible feats.
We have the safest, most secure border in the history of this nation.
Border crossings have dropped so much that federal agents now outnumber illegal crossers.
He had a mandate and he's delivering on it. The American economy is better for it.
NASDAQ and S&P both hitting all-time highs.
Gas prices are down. Retail sales are up. $2 trillion in international financial agreement and record tariff revenue.
The USA is on a roll.
Culminating in the signing of the One Big Beautiful Bill on July 4th.
A bill for and by the people.
Thanks to this bill, Trump could resign tomorrow and still point to an enduring legacy.
And he's full steam ahead for America.
This movement that President Trump has started is only getting bigger. It has more energy, more enthusiasm.
What he's going to do is show up and work hard and deliver every day for the American people.
You're watching history, so buckle up, because the next 3.5 years will probably be just as busy.
Oh, wow. Man, how about that for some wins, baby? And then we got this, DNI Tulsi Gabbard 5 hours ago, posting today, after nearly 60 years of questions surrounding the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., we're releasing 230,000 MLK assassination files, available now at archives.gov/MLK. The documents include details about the FBI's investigation into the assassination of MLK, discussion of potential leads, internal FBI memos detailing the progress of the case, information about James Earl Ray's former cellmate, who stated he discussed with Ray an alleged assassination plot, and more. Thanks to President Trump's leadership of Executive Order 14176 resulted in 3 unprecedented interagency efforts to identify, digitize, declassify, and release files related to the federal government's investigation into the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and Dr. King. So this is big news just happening today. Tulsi Gabbard making the announcement. And here is the press secretary just a few hours ago talking about the 6 months of this administration. We're only 6 months in, baby.
Has delivered on. They've learned nothing from President Trump's overwhelming victory on November 5th. The American people want deportations. They want secure borders. That's why we've had the most successful 6 months of any administration. The president has delivered on his two core campaign promises: defeat inflation and secure the homeland in record time.
Yeah, baby, let's go. Let's go. 6 months in. Jackie DeAngelis on the historic 6 months of POTUS second term. Full stop. He closed the border and more. Listen.
People are self-deported. So for 6 months, he's done a lot with respect to closing the border. I mean, let's start there. Full stop. He closed the border. Many people are self-deporting, and you've got Border Protection taking people out of this country, even though there have been problems with that and pushback in certain areas. On the trade front, on the pharmaceutical front, he's all about trying to level the playing field. We've been taken advantage of for far too long, and it's got to stop. I think a lot of Americans agree with that, and they believe in the way that he's doing it, that it will come out and work. But big, beautiful bill, the accomplishments in that bill becoming law, making those tax cuts, permanently extending them, adding to our defense budget, adding to the border budget to make America stronger again. There were just so many wins in there. And obviously the other tax provisions, too. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime. So, I think when you look at back in history, time will tell. But have we ever seen anybody move this fast? So for 6 months, he's done a lot.
We have not. Especially, remember how slow Joe Biden moved? Here we have this. President Trump's tariffs on Mexican tomatoes is already having a positive impact on struggling American tomato farmers. We are making tomatoes great again, baby.
Now there's
Smith Tomato Farm has been a fixture here on top of Chandler Mountain in St. Clair County for about 60 years. Chas Smith says he's seen a lot of changes over the years and not in a positive direction.
Less than 20 years ago, there was over 10 farms here on this mountain. Now there's barely 5, probably going to be 4 within a couple years. And as another 20 years goes by, there's going to be less and less.
Blake Thaxton with the Alabama Fruit and Vegetable Growers Association says the U.S. agreement with Mexico, first set in the late 90s, was meant to protect U.S. farmers, but it wasn't working.
There's been loopholes that the Mexican tomato producers have taken advantage of and continue to price dump or lower the prices below the cost of production here in the United States and in Alabama.
If they send the tomatoes over and it's supposed to be a set price and they need to move tomatoes, well, they may just give a load of bell pepper for free for them to take the tomatoes. So it's never really worked.
Now, without that agreement, the U.S. has a 17% tariff on tomatoes from Mexico.
So a lot of these tomatoes will actually be going out today.
Smith says he's already seeing a more level playing field.
It's only been 2 days now, and we've actually have a lot more calls of people having interest in doing business. And the price hasn't even changed.
Food security is national security, and we need to be able to produce our own food here in the United States.
Yeah, baby, making tomatoes great again. President Trump. Let's see. The best is yet to come. President Trump's rapid response 47. 6 months of Trump. Here is a Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania grocer. Check this out. Here's what he has to say.
The Bloomfield Groceria, run by a grocer who's lived here and ran businesses for 7 decades. He sees things differently.
It will not bother me if he put a 50% tariff in Mexico. It wouldn't bother me because I don't buy from there. I mean, it's just the way I am. As long as it's something grown here, this is where I want to buy my products.
So you actually do your research and try to find something.
I do. Absolutely.
The Bloomfield.
Buy American. Here is Chicopee, Massachusetts. It's a win-win for the community.
Fruit Fair in Chicopee. It's a win-win for the community and us.
The word tariff is something many business owners may fear, but that's not the case for Sam Newell, the co-owner of Fruit Fair in Chicopee, telling Western Mass News that when President Trump imposed a tariff on Mexican tomatoes after a decades-long agreement, she viewed it as an opportunity to compete with chains like Stop and Shop and ShopRite.
So having tariffs on imported goods gives us a more level playing field.
Baby, let's go. Make salsa great again. What else have we got here in the kitty? 6 months of winning.
president is saying we are 6 months into the second Trump White House, and the president is saying we are winning. Tariff revenues at record highs. A fresh round of Trump tax cuts is now hitting American wallets. The border's more secure. Iran has been neutralized. Even egg prices are down. You know it's going well when the Washington Post is starting to admit Trump's been on an amazing run. We are 6 months.
The Washington Post, yeah. They have to, though, after what they did. Okay, let's see. Flashback, 11/8/2019. Trump says he caught the swamp. He says he caught them all, and that nobody else could have done it but him. Then COVID outbreak, propaganda started less than a month later, reached the U.S. by January. Trump knew in his first term Obama's Kamal committed treason. Trump and Tulsi didn't find this information just now. Trump was already on pace to bring justice, but everything was derailed by COVID and the fraudulent 2020 election. Trump is finishing what he started. This is not a new objective. Trump has been planning this for years. He's just finally in a position to actually pull it off. Okay, let's go to that moment in 11/8/2019. As you know, the Tulsi Gabbard investigation into Obama is now currently underway. So let's watch this with that through that lens.
Nobody else. I think in light of all of the things going on, and you know what I mean by that, the fake news, the Comeys of the world, all of the bad things that went on, it's called the swamp. And you know what happened? And you know what I did? A big favor. I caught the swamp. I caught them all. Let's see what happens. Nobody else could have done that but me. I caught all of this corruption that was going on, and nobody else could have done it. I think in life...
It's amazing when you think about what he has been through. 2 impeachments, an assassination, 2 assassination attempts. And he's back 6 months later. Here's CNN. Wow. Jake Tapper. Jake Tapper says, wow, a lot can happen in just 6 months. Let's go to Turd Tapper.
Hello, I'm Jake Tapper in Washington, where the state of our union is thinking, wow, a lot can happen in just 6 months. Today marks half a year since President Trump took office again. And already his second term is shaping up to be even more consequential than his first. The president has followed through on promises to ramp up deportations, impose tariffs, target his political enemies, including the news media, reduce the federal bureaucracy, and slash U.S. aid to foreign countries. Hello, I'm Jake.
Yeah, Jake Tapper. Here we have more ABC News.
Term. Today marks 6 months since President Trump returned to office for his second term. It has been a head-spinning half year, from sweeping changes in the federal government to mass deportations and bombs dropped on Iran. The president promised changes, and there is no question he has made them. President Trump won the 2024 election based largely on his vow to improve the economy and crack down on illegal immigration. He has declared success on both. Today marks 6 months since President Trump returned to office for his second term. It has been a head-spinning half year, from sweeping changes in the federal government to mass deportations and bombs dropped on Iran. The president.
Oh, but we played that clip of Hunter. Hunter just did an interview. Did you see this? And this is what Hunter had to say about Jake Tapper. Now, I'm not sure if there's some clips of this interview with Hunter Biden floating around. I'm not sure who advised him. Maybe he thinks he's in the clear now. But even Hunter Biden going scorched earth on Turd Tapper.
Audience on. If you did see Jake Tapper, would it be time for a little bit of a schoolyard fight?
Look, man, I mean this sincerely. It's almost not worth commenting on it because he's completely irrelevant. And I really mean this, who's Jake Tapper's audience? Jake Tapper?
My mom or something? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. For real, though. I don't even think it's your mom anymore.
No.
By the numbers, what influence does Jake Tapper have over anything? He has the smallest audience on cable news. And beyond that, I think that the book is right now on the Amazon that he put out. I mean, his ratings just went to shit after he put the book out. You know, they did a 2-week infomercial for it. I mean, it was such a money grab, such a disservice to everybody that he serves with, that the journalism that he purports to take part in, and he's very personal. He has a real problem with me. He does this whole rant about how I was the acting chief of staff and that I took control of the White House and I orchestrated this cover-up. my dad's health and well-being. At the same time, as who would ever trust a person like me that was a crack addict, that got their sister-in-law addicted to crack cocaine, things that he has no notion of or idea about in personal, I'm like, Jesus Christ, Jake, grow the fuck up.
Well, a lot of these dudes now, you can...
Really? Is this a personal thing with me?
I feel like if you did see Jake Tapper.
Yeah, Hunter's a little miffed about Turd Tapper. Let's keep going. We got some more big wins to score right now. Here's Special Envoy Adam Bowler. The president has been very clear. Listen.
Now, Bukele, the president, has been very clear. Bringing Americans home is a critical priority. We don't accept when other countries take people. Now, President Bukele has been a good friend enough to know what's important to the United States. And so we appreciate the fact that he cleared a deal with Venezuela to release these Americans that came home. And I will tell you, once they're in our buses, their faces are totally different. They come in downtrodden, surprised, not knowing what's happened, because these guys don't tell them. They pull them up in the middle of the night. They have no idea they're going anywhere. And then they get into American hands, and the picture changes dramatically. I'll tell you something. There's nothing like seeing their faces when they come in. The president has...
Let's keep going. We've got more here. In 6 months, here's Kelly Loeffler. Here's what she has to say.
People speaking of home runs, it's a grand slam. I would give him an A++ because he has worked so hard for the American people every single day to deliver win after win. We see it on the economic side. We see 720,000 new jobs created, over $15 trillion in economic growth brought into America, inflation cut. We see a consumer confidence coming back, small business confidence above its 51-year average. And now with the One Big Beautiful Bill, the largest working family tax cut in American history being passed, this economy is spring-loaded. But it's not just that. It's national security, foreign policy. We have a secure border. The list goes on and on. This president has delivered on every single promise that he made to the American people and more. Well,
yeah, baby. Give me more of that. Here is Senator McCormick on the historic investments announced in Pennsylvania just last week.
And what was announced was incredible. We had 60 business leaders. We had many of the members of the president's cabinet. The president came, and $92 billion was announced. And it's just very much in line with what you said. There was about $36 billion announced in data centers. There was another $50 billion in energy infrastructure, distribution, transmission, operations. We need to build, and energy production. We need to build capability in our country, and Pennsylvania will be at the forefront of that for meeting this demand. Our energy needs are likely to triple in the next 15 years. We've got to have permitting reform to allow that natural gas and nuclear power and all the different forms of energy to be used, and we've got to have the distribution capability to make sure that energy is available, and of course that affects consumers. So this is the question of supply and demand. We have a growing demand. We have to have the supply that meets it, and that's why President Trump's energy dominance strategy is so important to America's future and Pennsylvania's future.
Oh, yeah, and it also helps bring the prices down everywhere. What else have we got? Oh, okay, we played that. That's all the good stuff we got for you right now. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So 6 months, that's all it took. Border sealed. Zero illegals released. Inflation crushed from Biden's disaster. Okay, to 2.1%, 700,000 new jobs, $15 trillion in investments pouring in, DEI abolished, men banned from women's sports, child mutilation ending, D.C. Children's Hospital just surrendered, Iran's nuclear program obliterated, hostages coming home, the big, beautiful bill delivering the largest middle-class tax cut in history. This is not just winning, it's domination. We're just getting started. 3.5 more years of this? Give me more. The establishment knows they're finished. Even fake news can't hide the results. Turd Tapper admitted it. A lot can happen in 6 months. That's right. You're witnessing the greatest comeback in political history. So here's my question. Is Trump's second term already more successful than his first? Drop a yes or a no. Drop your answer below. We'll have a conversation down there. And you can show your American pride. Hit our merch shop link in the description because victory looks good on you. If you want to support President Otto Penn's exposure or that brand new all-inclusive resort for illegals with that beautiful moat around it, the Alligator Alcatraz, or you could pick your favorite member of the administration with our American Badass series. Just go down to the link in the description, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, and pick your favorite and support our work. Okay, we are not done yet. Okay, we are just getting started. Reboot the phone? Okay. Slow me down, Brian. Okay, we got this Jody LaDolce dropping $5. I have to admit, I'd rather watch N3 than any of new major news networks. Thank you, Jody, for that message. Sincerely. $5 in the jar. We are now at $39.99. We're almost at 50. Who wants to be the one to put us over the top? All we need is a $10 and 1 penny donation. If you drop $10 and 1 penny in the jar, I will know it was you that put us over the top today. And make sure that when you do, you leave a substantive comment or a remark, and I will read it. That's why we're here. This is my show. This is your show. I want to give you voice. Craig just gifted 1 Next News Network membership to Bella Stubblefield. Thank you, Craig, and welcome, Bella. Okay, let's see where we're at now. Wow, numbers looking great tonight. And Tom B420 just dropped a $10 bill into the jar. Tom B just on fire over there. How cool is that? Oh, and if you guys want to have some fun, I got a secret for you. Go to, on YouTube later, go and look up DeLorean rental. Okay? And there's a video that was just posted this morning, and you'll see something amazing. Something I did over the weekend. All right? You'll see, well, you'll know. Just go and watch. I think you'll enjoy it. All right. Tom B420 dropping that $10 bill. Thank you again for that. We are 1 penny away from hitting our $50 mark. Who wants to drop a penny in the jar? Penny in the jar. That's how it works here. And let's see. We're going to go ahead and hopefully that restart has assisted with the issue that Brian is experiencing with some of the technical stuffs. Okay, I have reconnected, disconnected, and rebooted the raw feed phone. What's up, Robert Hayes? Yeah, baby. Let's go, bub. You are getting more bigger. LOL. You're getting more bigger. I'm not sure if that's bigger in a physical sense or bigger in the audience sense. I don't know. But I am back in the gym, so I'm going to be getting smaller and leaner. All right. Okay. Let's see where we're at. Thank you for that, Robert Haynes, for that. And then Tom B420 rounding up and getting the $2 bill dropped in the jar. Thank you for that. We are now at $71.99. So should we go for 100? Should we go for 100? We got a $2 bill here somewhere. I know I do. Yes, we do. Maybe we should hit. Let's try to. Let's make it 100. We're almost at 100. We're $71.99. You guys know what to do. All right, let's get to our answer. It was B, Franklin Roosevelt. I got it wrong. You got it wrong. That's what I thought. I thought it was Reagan. It was Franklin D. Roosevelt. FDR's first 100 days in 1933 saw unprecedented legislative action, creating a benchmark every president since has been measured against. How wild is that? Okay, we got more news, so don't go anywhere. We've got, like I said, we're just getting warmed up. We got some news from the South that you need to hear. But first, our question, which president signed the Immigration Act of 1924, drastically limiting immigration in the U.S.? Was it Warren G. Harding, Calvin Coolidge, Herbert Hoover, or Woodrow Wilson? 1924. I don't even know. Immigration Act, nah. Who was president in 1924? I don't know. You guys are going to have to answer this for me in the chat room or in the poll or in the comments. And until then, we're going to get the answer after the segment. A Border Patrol agent lies in a hospital bed, shot by a criminal who should never have been here. 4 arrests, 4 releases. Sanctuary city protection every single time. Now, he's pulled the trigger on one of our finest. That is what Biden's Border Patrol created, a killing field where criminals hunt our protectors. But Tom Homan has just declared war. ICE is mobilizing. In the sanctuary cities that harbor these monsters, they are about to find out what flooding the zone really means. Zero tolerance is here, and the days of catch and release are dead. And what happens next will restore law and order to every American street. Justice is coming. Keep watching. And while Trump secures our border and protects our communities, many patriots defending America suffer from daily pain that keeps them from celebrating these victories. Top medical experts have unveiled a breakthrough, 100% drug-free Canalidine. Like our brave Border Patrol agents who need peak performance, you deserve to operate without pain holding you back. Canalidine optimizes your body's natural painkillers, providing full body relief without dangerous pills. Over 1 million Americans, including law enforcement and military veterans, trust Canalidine's power. Legal, worldwide, certified drug-free, no addiction. And after 14 years of clinical research, it's proven safe and effective. Defend your quality of life at tricano.com/NNN. It's linked down below. Okay, this just in from the Department of Homeland Security. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Of course, that is how President Trump has been signing off all of his Truth Social posts as of late. And they were simply posting a Truth Social post. And this is what it said. One of the great success stories in the history of borders, and I'm including borders from anywhere in the world, congratulations to Kristi Noem, Tom Homan, Rodney Scott, Pam Bondi, and Pete Hegseth, but a special congratulations to Border Patrol and ICE. These are all absolutely amazing people. Look at that. Do you see what it is here? This is fiscal year Southwest Land Border encounters by month. Okay? Do you see that huge line at the very top? Starting at 100,000 October, November, December, January. All of a sudden, January starts to dip. Boom. February, March, April, May, June, July. Keeps going. It's like it flatlines, and then it goes even lower. Okay? Remember when Biden and all of his people, all his mouthpieces kept saying, oh, no, we got to pass the bill. And Trump's in the back room telling people don't vote for the bill. Okay? Trump didn't need a bill to get these results. Okay? That just goes to show everything that we were told from the previous administration was a complete lie. You guys, we all knew. We all knew it, okay? We covered it here. We exposed it. When we got this 5 hours ago, Trump's CBP Home app gets tens of thousands of illegals to self-deport. And they were posting a link to Breitbart.com. And then we have this. Press secretary says Democrats have learned nothing. In response to Hunter Biden's latest interview, which was a train wreck, in which he criticizes the Trump administration's immigration policies. Really? Hunter is going to criticize President Trump's immigration policies? Let's hear the press secretary set the record straight.
The president.
All these Democrats say, you have to talk about and realize that people are really upset about illegal immigration. You. How do you think your hotel room gets cleaned? How do you think you got food on your table? Who do you think is here by the sheer just grit and will that they figured out a way to get here because they thought that they could give themselves and their family a better chance? And he's somehow convinced all of us that these people are the criminals?
Quick reaction to that, Caroline, before I let you go.
Clearly, they've learned nothing from President Trump's overwhelming victory on November 5th. The American people want deportations. They want secure borders. That's why we've had the most successful 6 months of any administration. The president has delivered on his 2 core campaign promises: defeat inflation and secure the homeland in record time.
All these
secure the homeland. Okay, let's keep going. Here's more from the press secretary. She says POTUS and the entire White House are praying for this brave CBP agent.
You saw the president and the entire White House are praying for this brave Customs and Border Patrol agent and his family as he is currently fighting for his life in the hospital. You saw the Secretary of Homeland Security and our White House border czar, Tom Homan, who were on the scene in New York today and held a press conference to speak about this tragedy that took place over the weekend at the hands of yet another illegal alien invader who was allowed into our country and released by the Biden administration and then was released again at the hands of state and local officials. And this is exactly why President Trump was elected into office with an overwhelming mandate to secure our homeland and to move forward with the largest mass deportation operation in American history. We must remove these public safety threats from our communities. That's exactly what the Trump administration is doing. That's exactly why the One Big Beautiful Bill was signed into law, to give ICE and Customs and Border Protection, who put their lives on the line every day to protect our homeland, more resources to secure our communities. And this is just, unfortunately, another tragic example of the failed open border policies of the previous administration. The president and the entire
border policies are all getting erased. Pray for the family. Pray for that man who is that Border Patrol agent right now. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons. Let's hear what he has to say on Fox about this.
He got away. You know, we're so thankful that the CBP officer is going to be okay. We pray for him and his family. But what if this was just a normal person out there on the river at night? We wouldn't know about this. These two illegals could have killed an innocent person, or two people at this point. There were so many gotaways and so many people let in under the last administration that didn't come here for a better life. And we see that now. Both these individuals have such a large criminal history, and they've been encountered so many times by local law enforcement that this accident or this incident should have never happened. Should never have happened.
So the officer shot in New York City Miguel Francisco Mora Nunez, the alleged shooter, and Christian Abar Barrera, the alleged accomplice, second suspect arrested in border agent shooting. Okay, let's take a listen to what is being said here. Western Lensman reports Salazar says she believes the president is going to sign her bill. All right.
Will be dignified.
Okay, Congressman, has the speaker agreed to advance this? Where is this going? Have you talked to President Trump about it?
Listen, the president is the one who will sign this bill. It will not be amnesty, it will be dignity. Trump is an intelligent, astute leader. He can break a deal at any time. He's a construction guy from New York. He knows that those hands are needed. He has golf courses at Doral.
Do you have a commitment from him? Do you have any commitments that this is going to move yet?
We filed on July 15th. Just watch what's going to happen now. The conversation is going to start. I did my job as the legislator. It's an easy bill to pass. I'm sure that the president will bless it.
Okay, Congressman, have you...
Okay, so it sounds like there's an amnesty bill. We've been tracking that key word for a while. If you recall, just a couple of weeks back, Charlie Kirk's phone was ringing off the hook. People telling him, people working in the back rooms to cut an amnesty deal. Now it appears that this Republican, Salazar, U.S. Representative Maria Elvira Salazar of Florida District 27, has filed the bill, and she has full confidence that President Trump is going to sign it. President Trump has said that he is not going to support amnesty, but she calls it dignity and not amnesty. She was on Miami television. Here we have now, we're gonna track that, don't worry. Los Angeles has a homeless population. Kevin Kiley posting this, Representative Kevin Kiley. Los Angeles has a homeless population of 72,308. That's insane. It just announced 614 layoffs because its finances are a mess. It had violent riots and catastrophic fires after defunding the police and fire department. Yet the mayor's priority is giving cash payments to illegal immigrants. Yeah, remember when we reported that? Well, the conversation is continuing. Let's listen to his remarks.
If you tell people, when I first heard this, I thought it must be made up.
But then it's kind of like, well, no, it actually makes perfect sense because California already provides the most generous benefits by far to illegal immigrants at taxpayer expense of any state. But this one is just unbelievable. I mean, as you heard, Karen Bass is going to give these cards out to people who claim they've been impacted in some way or affected by ICE operations. And one of the ways you can get one, as she just said, is if you are somehow afraid to go into work. Well, think about the incentives there. If you tell people that if you're too afraid to go to work, you get a free cash card, I think all of a sudden we're going to find there are a lot of people who are now too afraid to go into work. But the real kicker on this is she's claimed that, oh, no, this isn't taxpayer money. This is philanthropists. This is private money coming in. But that's not actually true, because to deliver these cards to people, to go and give them out, she's chosen this quote-unquote nonprofit named Chirla, which has actually received $34 million in taxpayer funding. It's effectively a subsidiary of the state, and they were, of course, instrumental in fueling the LA riots by alerting people where ICE was at any given moment. She's chosen this group, of all people, to go out and distribute these free cash payments.
Just a remarkable story. Well, Congressman, we're going to have to leave it there. Always appreciate you coming on Newsmax. Thank you again.
Wow. Let's continue this. There's more. CBP Commissioner Rodney Scott, these two individuals were released into the U.S. after being apprehended because of failed policies. POTUS stepped up to fix these failed policies on January 20th of this year.
These two individuals, the two assailants, were released into the United States after being apprehended because of failed policies. President Trump stepped up and fixed those failed policies on January 20th of this year. With the support from Secretary Noem, we now have one of the most secure, we have the most secure border that I've ever seen in my entire lifetime. Much of that resolution was by fixing failed policies based on facts and evidence. Sanctuary city policies across this nation and some of these, and even states in some cases, are failed policies. The facts and evidence are there in front of you. It's time for local leadership and state leadership to step up to the plate like President Trump did. Acknowledge crime is crime. Acknowledge the fact that there's no global information system where we can vet these people coming into the United States. We do not know who they are, and we have to have border security where we simply know and control who and what enters our country, just like we do our homes. This should not be political. I'm calling on all state and local leaders to step up to the plate, get rid of these sanctuary city laws, and simply enforce the laws on the books. Work with your federal agencies so that we can actually root out these criminals from our neighborhoods.
Root them out, man. All of them. Okay, what would you say, ABC, what would you say to people who say they're not here illegally? They have to leave. They should have waited in line.
To those people,
What would you say to people who say, look, they're not here legally, they have to leave, they should have waited in line?
Well, to those people, I don't care to conversate to those people. Our community is devoting our time to the people who are rallying up with us.
What would you say to people?
ABC, here's another one.
Little question, you will hit the border with Mexico, where there is little question that Trump is fulfilling a campaign promise.
All illegal entry will immediately be halted.
In a matter of months, migrant crossings have hit record lows. Apprehensions at the southern border dropped to 6,072 in the month of June, a massive reduction from the 83,532 apprehensions recorded in June of last year.
Over 25 miles of concertina wire our U.S. Marines put up for us.
Acting Patrol Chief Jeffrey Stallnacher tells us the San Diego sector has seen a significant drop in illegal entries.
And what that has done, it's allowed us to get our agents back on the border to do their traditional work. In addition to that, we have maximized consequences. It can be an immigration consequence or a consequence because of a criminal history, something that they've done in the past.
So in other words, if they come across, you find out they have criminal history, they go to jail and probably be kicked out later. Or if they don't, they're just immediately
repatriated. So criminal history and immigration.
You will hit
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh, I thought I saw Stephen Miller. Oh, yeah, baby. Give me some Stephen Miller. Let's see what he's talking about.
1,000 under Biden on a regular day
10,000 illegal aliens would be set free into the country on a single day. In the last full month of June, under President Trump, the number of releases, 0. The number of releases the month before that, 0. The number of attempts last month, again, all of which were stopped, was just around 6,000. For the entire month, 2,000-mile border, and only 6,000 people tried, 100% were stopped, 0 got in. It is inexpressible what an achievement that is from President Trump. But the great challenge now, which President Trump is leading, is the process of finding all the criminal elements embedded throughout our country, all the terrorists embedded throughout our country, and getting them out and getting them out fast. And here's the thing. There's no book of addresses, Sean, of where all the criminals are. Biden just set them free everywhere on their own, fake documents, fake names, fake identities, and free taxpayer dollars. There is no encyclopedia we can turn to figure out where they're located or where they live. This requires backbreaking law enforcement investigative work to identify and remove these criminal aliens. You just mentioned, Sean, as an example, in one law enforcement operation in San Francisco, they arrested an illegal alien who had been in and out of jail in California 67 times. 67 times this criminally illegal, including, by the way, for dealing fentanyl, 67 times in jail, out of jail, in Newsom's sanctuary state, in and out, never once deported until President Trump came along. But you have even more dire threats, acting on behalf of foreign adversaries and foreign enemies, criminal cartels, foreign terrorist organizations who have spread throughout all 50 states under Joe Biden. Already, under President Trump's leadership, 150,000 criminal illegal aliens have been arrested by either Homeland Security or the Department of Justice and either deported or prosecuted. 150,000 threats to our community off the streets. But there are millions and millions more to go, Sean. And under President Trump's leadership, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, baby. Bring it. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is what betrayal looks like. A Border Patrol agent fighting for his life because sanctuary cities protected his shooter through 4 arrests. 4 times they could have deported this animal. 4 times they chose criminals over citizens. But the tables have turned. Tom Homan's promises to flood sanctuary cities is not a threat, it's a guarantee. Already 150,000 criminal aliens arrested or deported, 0 released last month. The border isn't just secure, it is sealed. And Governor Noem, Kristi Noem, DHS Secretary, called it right. Violence against our officers is up 830% because of Democrat rhetoric. Well, that rhetoric just met Trump's reality. No more catch and release. No more sanctuary for killers. The American people demanded action, and they are getting it. And Maria Salazar, representative, pushing amnesty? Well, she's about to get primaried into oblivion. So here is the question. Should sanctuary city mayors face federal charges for harboring criminals? Yes or no? Drop your comment or your verdict down below. Let's continue the conversation. And if you want to support the president's all-inclusive resort of Alligator Alcatraz with that beautiful moat that's filled with lush wildlife, check out our Patriot gear. Alligator Alcatraz shirts on sale now with President Otto Penn also is one of the selections. And you can pick your favorite member of the administration in our American Badass series. Click the link in the description. In order to do that, you got to tap more, and you got to tap more again. YouTube's made it very difficult, but it's linked down below in the description. Check it out, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Okay, some really great comments have come in here. Craig wants me to say hi to Teresa. What's up, Teresa? Good to see you. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate that. Craig wanted to spend $5 on a little happy message to you, and I'm happy to oblige. And then we got Robert Haynes says, bigger on the channel, LOL. Well, you know, hey, maybe that's just my self-esteem talking, right? All right. Okay. $2 for that. Barbara, she says, love your show. Thank you, Barbara. $10 to support the work we do here every single day to bring you the news and commentary, opinion, and investigations you won't get anywhere else. And then we've also got this from Better Tomorrow. Such a beautiful message here from Better Tomorrow. You've done so much to help wake people up. You've been instrumental in these changes because people wouldn't know the truth without you and others like you. Thank you. Better Tomorrow, dropping that $10 beautiful comment. I really appreciate that. You know, I go into the office and the studio day in and day out. I put my head down and do the work, and it's just what I do. And I don't often think about all of the, you know, the ripple effect of the work that we do here. We just do, because it's in our heart. It's our mission, and we want to help, you know, make America great again. We want to help restore America, restore the republic. That's been my mantra for a long time. So when I get messages like this, it reminds me that, you know, the work here we do, the work that Brian has been doing tirelessly for like 20 years with me, and Todd, of course, a new member of our team, Tom, who's helped us at the White House, his White House coverage. You know, our team in Washington, D.C., everybody is working tirelessly to support the message of liberty and freedom. That's really what it comes down to. And I don't often stop to think about how it goes out. I just do it, it goes out, and then things happen. So thank you for that, Better Tomorrow, for that beautiful message. And we are now at $98.99. We only need $2.01 to break $100 in the jar tonight. Who's going to drop $2? I'm not sure. Maybe it will be you watching right now. But until then, let's find out what our answer is in the trivia question. It was Calvin Coolidge. You guys got it right. The 1924 Immigration Act set strict quotas and essentially closed America's borders for decades, showing border control is not new. Okay, what is our next topic of the evening? Well, we're going to get to that in a second. But first, our trivia question. Which U.S. president created the Secret Service to combat counterfeit currency? Was it A, Abraham Lincoln, B, Ulysses S. Grant, C, Andrew Johnson, or D, Rutherford B. Hayes? I think it was actually Abraham Lincoln that did that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Abraham Lincoln. We're going to find out after this, but now I have just seen the 2 super chats have come through from Tom B420, who dropped $2 in the jar, putting us over the top, along with Lori, who just put $2 in as well. Thank you guys for making it possible for us to hit that number tonight. You guys don't realize what happens sometimes. These shows, they get demonetized, makes it harder for us to do our work and pay the bills. So when you guys drop these super chats, you guys are helping us bypass some of that monetization censorship that we rely on. So you guys are instrumental in that. So thank you so much. Okay, let's get to our last topic of the evening. And before we do, well, I'll save my commentary for this next segment. But I want to make sure. Okay. All right, let's just move into it here. All right. And now a huge plot twist. While the world obsessed over central bank digital currencies and surveillance coins, and we should be concerned about them, Trump just pulled the ultimate power move. The Genius Act isn't what the globalists wanted. It's the exact opposite, okay? We're learning now. No programmable money that expires, no tracking every purchase, no social credit stores. Instead, America just created the world's first freedom-based digital dollar framework. Private companies, not government spies, will run the show. That was one of the big concerns, that government is going to be reaching in and spying on all of our transactions. Now, the former SEC chair, Paul Atkins, he calls it revolutionary. Coinbase says they're ready to scale. Senator Hagerty calls it a blow to central planners. Now, are they doing damage control? Or are they actually telling us what it is? Now, it's not just financial policy. it could just be a declaration of monetary independence. Now, a true declaration of monetary independence would be abolishing the Federal Reserve and going back to the gold standard. Now, that's where I stand. Now, has the future of money arrived? Stay tuned. Now, the Genius Act proves that Trump is committed to advancing the cryptocurrencies in the world. But there is another freedom that men need to reclaim. Most guys think that aging drains their testosterone, but the real culprit is something you eat daily, something you've been told is healthy. This one food scientifically devastates testosterone levels, crushing your energy and motivation. Now, it's not junk food or sugar. It's way more unexpected. Sculpt Nation's experts, they have seen men transform by eliminating this one thing, building muscle, burning fat, and feeling energized again. Like Trump's revolutionizing finance, you can revolutionize how you feel. Discover what's killing your testosterone at sculptnation.com/NNN. One simple change changes everything. Now let's find out what people are saying about the Genius Act. Now, if you've been tracking what our coverage of the Genius Act, we've been raising alarm bells. Now, the good news is that a CBDC bill to ban CBDCs is moving through Congress. President Trump has vowed to codify his executive order through Congress to prevent that from ever happening. People have been raising the alarm bells about stable coins. Marjorie Taylor Greene has even called it potentially the framework for the mark of the beast technology. Now let's hear what people are saying. This is Chris Martenson discussing the Genius Act. Listen.
Ever opened a bank account? Oh, if you've ever opened a bank account, you've probably noticed that it's a big, hefty document, and in there it says stuff like, we can just cancel your account anytime. We can add fees. We can subtract fees. We can do whatever we want. There's all these things. It's not your money once you give it to the bank, right? So then the banks are going to attach all of their own things to these things. So when you get a stable coin, it's going to be like, oh, look, I have a stable coin dollar came onto my phone. I own one of these things now, but you might or you might not. And it's going to have guaranteed, full on guarantee. You're going to have less financial privacy under this than at any point in time. And that was the big deal around CBDCs. Somebody can tell you what you can and can't do with it. They could take it away from you at a flick of a switch, and you'll have no privacy whatsoever. You couldn't possibly spend a stable coin on an old Beanie Baby at a tag sale without the government saying, well, you owe state and federal taxes on that transaction, right? So that's the whole point behind this whole thing. And I'm highly skeptical of it. This is not a Genius Act. This is really a bad day for financial privacy and freedom. But, oh, if you've ever opened a bank.
So heed that warning. Heed that warning. Now, if you don't know what a cryptocurrency is, if you don't know what Bitcoin is, here we have Bitcoin junkies posting this 24 hours ago. They call this the greatest, still the greatest Bitcoin explanation of all time. So if you want to peel back the curtain to understand, join me in watching this.
Blockchain. Chairman Crapo, Ranking Member Brown, members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. My name is Peter Van Valkenburg, and I'm the Director of Research at Coin Center, an independent nonprofit focused on the public policy issues affecting cryptocurrency and public blockchain networks. What is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is the world's first cryptocurrency, and it works because of the world's first public blockchain network. What does Bitcoin do? It's simple. It lets you send and receive value to and from anyone in the world using nothing more than a computer and an internet connection. Now, why is it revolutionary? Because unlike every other tool for sending money over the internet, it works without the need to trust a middleman. The lack of any corporation in between means that Bitcoin is the world's first public digital payments infrastructure. And by public, I simply mean available to all and not owned by any single entity. Now, we have public infrastructure for information, for websites, for email. It's called the internet. But the only public payments infrastructure that we have is cash, as in paper money. And it only works in face-to-face transactions. Before Bitcoin, if you wanted to pay someone remotely over the phone or the internet, then you could not use public infrastructure. You would rely on a private bank to open their books and add a ledger entry that debits you and credits the person you're paying. And if you both don't use the same bank, well, then there'll be multiple banks and multiple ledger entries in between. With Bitcoin, the ledger is the public blockchain, and anyone can add an entry to that ledger, transferring their Bitcoins to someone else. And anyone, regardless of their nationality, race, religion, gender, sex, or creditworthiness, can for absolutely no cost create a Bitcoin address in order to receive payments digitally. Bitcoin is the world's first globally accessible public money. Is it perfect? No. Neither was email when it was invented in 1972. Bitcoin's not the best money on every margin. It's not yet accepted everywhere. It's not used often to quote prices, and it's not always a stable store of value. But it is working, and the mere fact that it works without trusted intermediaries is amazing. It's a computer science breakthrough, and it will be as significant for freedom, prosperity, and human flourishing as the birth of the internet. And Bitcoin is just the beginning. If we can replace private payments infrastructure, then we can replace other private choke points to human interaction as well. Now, why should we want to build more public infrastructure? Why should we embrace blockchains over corporate intermediaries? Why should we tolerate their inefficiencies and work to make them better? Why should we want the pioneers of this technology here in the United States and not fleeing overseas? A simple reason. Because the corporate intermediaries providing today's critical but privately owned infrastructure are becoming fewer, larger, and more powerful, and their failures are increasingly grave. So roughly half of all Americans, 143 million people, had their Social Security numbers exposed to hackers because of a breach at Equifax. The SWIFT network has relayed hundreds of millions of dollars in fraudulent transactions because of hacked member banks in Bangladesh, Vietnam, Ecuador, and Russia. The FBI suspects now that the largest of these hacks was perpetrated by North Korea. Corrupt, low-level employees at an Indian bank, Punjab National, were able to fraudulently certify SWIFT messages, stealing $1.8 billion. It's the largest electronic bank robbery in history. In fact, it's the largest bank robbery in history. In October 2016, an estimated 1.2 million internet-connected devices were hacked and turned into a botnet that for several hours made prominent websites unavailable across Europe and North America, including CNN and Fox News, the New York Times, and the Wall Street Journal. Increasingly, physical machines are being connected to the internet to augment their capabilities. They're wired through servers that are owned and maintained by private and trusted intermediaries, the so-called Internet of Things. Pacemakers from St. Jude's Hospital have been hacked. Baby monitors from TrendNet have been hacked. And Jeeps from Jeep have been hacked to the point where they can be remotely commandeered and driven off the road. Now, those vulnerabilities are inescapable in systems that have single points of failure. It doesn't matter if the point of failure is a corporation or if it's a government. There shouldn't be a single point of failure. Similar choke points existed before the internet. If you wanted to deliver a message, you'd have to go through one of 3 television broadcasters or a handful of newspapers. Private corporations are essential, but no critical infrastructure should rely on 1 or 2. The internet.
So that is the explanation of Bitcoin. Here we have the SEC chair, Paul Atkins, praising the Genius Act as a breakthrough for digital assets and market safety. Listen.
President's I thought this was a really great watershed and thanks to the President for his leadership and the Congress for, getting this out and getting that bill to the President's desk for signature. I think this bill the Genius Act is focused on payment stablecoins, and so that's not really within the SEC's ambit of regulation, but it's really for the banking regulators, as is appropriate. But the one great thing about this is that for the first time now, the United States government has put its stamp of approval on a very key and important, potentially very important digital asset that will, I think, help to lower costs, lower risks in the market, because we can now move towards an instantaneous almost settlement of payment versus delivery for securities, thanks to on-chain stablecoins. And that will help, I think, innovation and to really get our markets, to be the best in the world. I thought this was a real...
So there you have the SEC chair. Here is President Trump officially signing the Genius Act into law. Let's see here.
The Genius Act cleared the House Thursday with bipartisan support just a month after passing the Senate. The law does set clear rules for stablecoins, digital tokens that are tied to the value of the U.S. dollar, making it easier for banks and companies to issue them. Now, supporters say the law will boost trust in stablecoins and help bring crypto into the financial mainstream. Now,
here's Senator Bill Hagerty 10 hours ago calling it a win for innovation and a blow to central planners. Listen.
So desperately need. The Genius Act has gained this bipartisan support because it presents common sense rules that protect consumers, promote competition, and foster innovation. It's time we provide the clarity and stability that our country and its innovators so desperately need.
It's going to enable us to take a very positive step in the direction of ensuring that the United States is a positive environment for cryptocurrency technology. Stablecoins is one of these issues that I think the United States can be a leader on.
Today, we're voting on the sixth version of the Genius Act, drafted with input from both Republicans and Democrats. And if senators would like the opportunity to make further modifications of the bill, I encourage them to vote for cloture.
Over the weekend, Democrats walked away, saying there need to be real changes to this bill and that Republicans will not jam us. It would be a real mistake to roll over and give away our votes without fixing this bill.
What she's doing is using a political argument to stir up controversy because she's been focused on the central bank digital currency. By its nature, this is decentralized. She's been opposed to this from the beginning. She fought this in the banking committee, and after close to 4 hours of debate in the banking committee, she was able to hold 4 Democrats on her side, but 5 came over with me and voted for us to put this out of committee.
Every Democrat today just voted shamelessly to stop our debate, to not even allow debate on this bill.
It should have been a historic day for Americans, a historic day for working class Americans, blue collar Americans, to see their financial system democratized.
The question is, can we get past the partisan politics and allow us to actually have a victory? And I look forward to making history, hopefully this week, as we continue to make progress on the Genius Act.
Last week, in a bipartisan vote, the Senate passed the Genius Act.
Tennessee Republican Senator Bill Hagerty, who is the lead sponsor of the bill.
Very enthusiastic about the stablecoin legislation that I've led. We've been working on this for months. We have a strong bipartisan product.
The House passing the Genius Act. That will now head to President Trump's desk.
This is a very big thing, and I want to thank the bill's author, Senator Bill Hagerty, a very good friend of mine. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you very much, everybody.
And that is history. Now, here we have a question. Are decentralized stable coins actually safe? Let's listen.
To make it nice and clear for... Hi guys, just traveling at the moment. Thought I'd give you a quick update on a few things. Probably the main one is obviously with the Genius Act just coming out. Just wanted to make it nice and clear for folks that may be curious. USDL is actually a decentralized stable coin, and it is not caught out by the Genius Act in the sense that the Genius Act is intended to ensure that stable coins that are actually issued are backed, right? So the likes of USDT, USDC, the intent is to make sure that they are fully backed. And that, from my perspective, is a really good thing. And so the Genius Act in that regard is very good. Very different to USDL, which is obviously a decentralized stable coin that is actually minted from the collateral that's available on the system. And the other thing to bear in mind is Liquid Loans is a lending protocol. It's not a stable coin factory, right? It's not intended to be somewhere that you go to acquire stable coins. It is purely a lending protocol. And once you issue USDL, it is fully backed by the collateral that you're using on the system. And that's a very, very different perspective to stable coins that are minted out of thin air that don't have any backing. So hence a lot of the focus is ensuring that stable coins that are available have been created, such as USDT and USDC, are actually fully backed. And in that regard, we think that's a very good outcome. But just to be clear, we are a lending protocol, not a stablecoin factory.
Oh, and then we have this. This is interesting. Not sure if you saw this. According to the Bank of International Settlements, stablecoins equal a threat to financial stability. The Bank of International Settlements, this is Reuters, the central bank body, delivers stark stablecoin warning. What are they saying at Reuters? Bank of International Settlements warns stablecoin carry multitude of system-wide risks. Risks include monetary sovereignty. Monetary sovereignty? Of course, the Bank of International Settlements would hate that. And EM capital flight. Central banks need to boldly pursue tokenization. Central banks, yeah, they, of course, the international banksters would love to have CBDCs. London, the Bank for International Settlements issued its starkest warning yet on the risk posed by stablecoins and urged countries to move rapidly towards the tokenization of their currencies. The Bank of International Settlements pushing CBDCs. The BIS, often dubbed as the central banker's central bank, outlined its concerns, including stablecoins' potential to undermine monetary sovereignty, transparency issues, and risk capital flight from emerging economies. It comes less than a week after the U.S. Senate passed a bill to create a regulatory framework for U.S. dollar-pegged stablecoins, a move which, if rubber-stamped by the House, is expected to fuel a further explosion in their popularity. And yes, the bill did pass. President Trump signed it into law. They state stablecoins are a type of cryptocurrency designed to maintain a constant value, usually a one-to-one dollar peg backed by real-world assets such as U.S. Treasuries or gold. Dollar-pegged coins currently account for 99% of the market, which is estimated to have over $260 billion worth of coins in circulation. Stablecoins, as a form of sound money, fall short and without regulation pose a risk to financial stability and monetary sovereignty, the Bank of International Statements said in an early release chapter of its annual report due to be published on Sunday. Hyun Song Shin, the BIS economic advisor, explained that stablecoins lack the traditional settlement function provided by a central bank with fiat money. He likened them to private banknotes circulating in the 19th century free banking era in the United States. It means they can often trade at varying exchange rates depending on the issuer, undermining the no questions asked principle of central bank issued money. Singleness is either you have it or you don't, Shin said, also warning the risk of fire sales of the assets backing stablecoins if they collapse. Oh, yeah, of course they would be warning that. There is also concern around who controls stablecoins. Tether, who controls stablecoins, currently has more than half of the overall stablecoin market, but quit the EU following the introduction of new rules, which require stablecoin operators to be licensed by the bloc. So, of course, the Bank of International Settlements would be pushing for CBDCs. Here is Coinbase Institution 8 hours ago. The Genius Act is now law, marking a regulatory milestone for stablecoins. USDC is ready to scale in a fully compliant, federally regulated environment, boosting confidence for international use. Let's listen in.
Right? Like, this is why are we on a meteoric rise of stablecoins?
I think that the growth of stablecoins being used in our everyday lives in terms of people using stablecoins to pay for things online, I think just being utilized for those things, it's going to be massive. We're talking about atomic settlement. You're not required to have multiple entities. I mean, this partly adds to the cost, right? Like, this is why things cost so much, because you have like banks and correspondent banks and entities in the middle all passing money along, and they're all moving ledgers, and they all need to get paid for those services instead of just being on chain.
Are we on a meteoric rise of stable?
So if you got value for this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So is this what winning looks like? While Europe pushes dystopian CBDCs and China tracks every yuan, America, well, they just voted for freedom. Or did they? The Genius Act isn't just legislation. It is a middle finger to the globalists. Private stablecoins, federal framework, and zero government control. So they say there's no expiration dates on your money. There's no blocking purchases they don't like. No social credit tyranny. Is that true? Is it actually legitimate digital freedom backed by American innovation? Well, apparently the USDC is ready. The infrastructure is built. Institutional money already flooding in. Bitcoin advocates are celebrating because this legitimizes the entire crypto ecosystem. Now, the globalists wanted programmed slaves. And what did Trump give us? Well, some believe it's monetary sovereignty. Others warn something darker. Now, the same president they said would destroy the system, well, did he make it freer than ever? While they planned our digital prison, he pushed back against the globalists. So here's the question. Would you convert some of your savings into stablecoins now that they are federally regulated? Yes or no? And you can grab your American Badass gear and celebrate if you want to. We got Alligator Alcatraz, President Autopen, Mag Avengers, and you can pick your favorite American Badass at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Okay, now we have this from Cheryl's. I love Donald J. Trump. He's doing an amazing job. Deport all the illegals. $10. We are now officially over the top at over $102.99. And that came in from Rumble. How cool is that? Always good to see folks from Rumble here. All right, let's find out where we're at now with this trivia question. You guys said it was Abraham Lincoln, and you were correct. He signed legislation creating the Secret Service on April 14th, 1865, ironically the same day that he was assassinated. Wow. Who knew? All right, let's check in with the main feed here and see. What's this? This is from 14 hours ago. C3 writes, there's no evidence Russia hacked the DNC server, none. However, there's serious evidence someone uploaded the DNC server info locally and leaked it to WikiLeaks. There's also evidence Seth Rich was killed after Podesta emailed about making an example of a suspected leaker. WikiLeaks. Wow. Look at that. Let's see here. This is 1 hour ago. Rapid Response 47, President Trump writing, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi. On the Iran nuclear sites, damages are very severe. They are destroyed. Of course, they are, just like I said, and we will do it again, if necessary. As interviewed by Bret Baier, fake news CNN should immediately fire their phony reporter and apologize to me and the great pilots who obliterated Iran's nuclear sites. CNN is a major ratings loser, as is MSDNC. Imagine, what is this? Imagine waiting at the bank and you catch the bank teller frolicking with someone thinking nobody could see. What are they doing? Okay. Okay, President Donald Trump says Obama himself completely manufactured the Russia hoax, the crime of the century. True Social Post. Obama himself manufactured the Russia hoax. Crooked Hillary, Sleepy Joe, and numerous others participated in this. The crime of the century, irrefutable evidence, a major threat to our country. Here's a meme for you. Spill the memes. When a doctor says you need to watch your drinking. Good advice. The world's most wanted terrorist, Obama been lying. Oh, this is creepy. Not sure what this is. Looks like AI. President Trump, 41 minutes ago, Eric Doherty reports, President Trump says he is searching for a candidate who can run against Representative Thomas Massie in Kentucky, someone I can endorse and vigorously campaign for. The worst Republican congressman, a real loser, an embarrassment to Kentucky. Well, he's gunning for Massie. I was the hunted, and now I am the hunter. Yes, you are, Mr. President. Yes, you are. Ill Donald Trumpo. They all know it's coming. What is Comey saying here?
Cucumbers up my ass. Hi, guys. James Comey here. I haven't been arrested yet. I'm just trying to get used to the idea of being in jail. Right now, I'm practicing my mugshot face, and maybe later on I'll be trying out different size cucumbers up my ass, just in case they put me in a cell with like a Tyrone or a Big Mike or something like that. Basically, I know I'm fucked. I'm just trying to make it less painful.
Oh, clearly an AI-generated video of James Comey. We can all get a laugh out of that. Donald Trump having a laugh. What is this? Is that really? Oh, Trump did not post this. Okay, so we're not going to post that. This is a meme checkpoint. Show me the most recent meme you have saved on your phone. What? A Porsche pirate turns himself into the victim. Homeowner says, I didn't anticipate you dying.
Packages. I didn't. Oh my god. Oh my god.
You okay?
Oh my god. Did you put a bomb in there?
Maybe.
Did you put a bomb in there?
Well, I had to do what I had to do. You keep stealing my packages.
You were gonna kill me over me stealing one of your packages.
I didn't anticipate you dying.
You're insane, dude. You're fucking insane.
I'm insane. Isn't it crazy that you roll up on random people's porches and steal their packages?
You had 2 mechanical pencils last time I stole from you, and you were gonna kill me over something as small as that?
Correction, good sir.
Yeah, that looks like it might be staged. All right. Adam Lowitz is doing a X meetup in Chicago, doing one in Los Angeles. If you want to learn more, follow Adam Lowitz and go to adamlowitz.com, and he will help you. Wow. Optimus just served me popcorn.
Yay, Optimus. Separately? Sure. Who's paying for the first one? Yay, Optimus. Separately? Sure. Who's paying for the first one? Okay. Thank you. Where are you guys from? Australia. Sorry? Oh, Ukraine. I was like, you guys' accent still sound Australian. Thanks, Optimus.
A little slow on the draw there. Wow. Optimus serving popcorn. That's wild. Okay. Folks, that's the show tonight. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow, and what a day it's been, and what a time to be alive. We just witnessed history unfold in real time. You were here for every explosive moment. So let's recap what just detonated across America today. The Epstein files no longer sealed, no longer protected. Trump ordering the full release, and the establishment's in complete panic mode. And when Mark Levin tells you to stop talking about something, you know you're over the target. So this isn't ending with documents, it's ending with handcuffs. We can only hope and pray. Now, the Russia hoax finally exposed as the treason we always knew that it was. Tulsi Gabbard didn't just deliver evidence, she delivered the roadmap to prosecutions. Obama's December 2016 meeting was ground zero for the coup attempt. And General Flynn wants raids. The DOJ now has the receipts. No statutes of limitations on conspiracy means no escape for the conspirators. 6 months into Trump's second term, the transformation undeniable. 700,000 jobs, inflation destroyed, $15 trillion in investment, men out of women's sports, the border sealed tight. Even fake news can't spin the results. The Wall Street Journal admits America has its swagger back because it does. Speaking of the border, Tom Homan just declared war on sanctuary cities after a Border Patrol agent was shot by a 4-time arrested illegal. The response were flooding the zone. 150,000 criminal aliens already removed, 0 released last month. The betrayal's over, law and order's back. And the Genius Act, well, Trump, did he give us monetary freedom? As the globalists freak out, pushing their own CBDCs overseas, we're going to find out. Crypto, though, now getting its legitimate time in the sun. And to everyone who sent in Super Chats and Rumble Rants, you made this show incredible. Your energy, your passion, your reactions, that is what the Raw Feed's all about. We're not just reporting news, we're building a movement. So tell a friend about today's show. Text in the link, share it on every platform. The truth needs warriors, and you are on the front lines. And don't forget to show your colors with our exclusive Next News merch. Hit the shop link down below. Whether it's Alligator Alcatraz, President Otto Penn, or American Badass Series, wear your patriotism proudly. This is only the beginning. Every day brings new victories, new revelations, and new reasons to fight. The establishment thought they could outlast us. Well, they were wrong. We're not going anywhere. Thank you for joining the Raw Feed. Thank you for standing for truth, and thank you for being the Americans that our founders dreamed of. Until next time, I'm Gary Franchi reminding you the revolution will be live streamed, and you're watching it happen. Stay free, Patriots. We'll see you on the next show.